No. Vane and I are on different teams.
Yeah.
We're just discussing. We're just discussing
correct.
about.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your team's name then?
I think it's like they're just forming, so that's probably all under debate.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
no
they
team,
have
no team name
extremely
right now.
strong players. They have the Mesmer from PZ. They have Gas Mask. They have.
Oh, what happened to PC?
I
Did they disband?
don't think they disbanded. I think they're more disappointed with the game right now, or on hiatus.
Ah,
all that
they're on
stuff kind of
hiatus.
taking toll on them.
yeah, there's the link.
Yeah, so it's the Guardian and Mesmer from PZ, Zeus from Curse, Gas Mask, and Hatui, which is an extremely strong Necro. Like before we picked up Khalifa, we're actually like contemplating picking up Hatui. But like the other guys didn't know Hatui, they knew Khalifa, and they're like, well, we know Khalifa, you know, that type deal. So.
Oh my god, did you fucking say Curse?
Yeah.
Oh my god, did you play with the guys from EU?
What's up?
Did you play with the guys from EU?
Yeah, I was on the EU team, but I didn't want
God.
to play on the EU team because the tickets issue, you know, when you transfer from NA to EU. Yeah. I opted out on it, and I'm not a part of Curse anymore.
So, but yeah, pretty much like with the way our team rolls, like you said, like what's the counter to burst? Like it might be just what they're running it themselves. Zeus's new team, where I'm the control on my team, and where I peel for my targets or peel for my other players and shit like that. Their warrior is going to be the one that does that, and their Ellie, Zeus, is actually the one that's going to be focusing on free casting, doing the damage, all that stuff like that. So it's definitely like the same mindset that we have, that you know you can't just tunnel vision a target and hey, you know, get him down real quick, because you know if another team is peeling for that target, then you're not going to get him down most of the time.
I don't know. Do you guys have the in EU, like every team is sending a bunker Ellie to your close point? Like it's so fucking disgusting. Like.
Yeah,
you can't deal with that with one player. Like
no, I absolutely agree. And the way we
have a team that does that too as well.
Yeah, the way we actually counter that is well, JBUO even stopped doing that against us, and the reason is we will go wipe them in mid. We'll have our whoever's just sitting there against that Ellie, you know, they're fucking just doing damage, trying to make them burn cooldowns and stuff like that, keeping it neutral, so no one's gaining points from that. Even if they cap their point, we go wipe them on mid, because now it's an uneven fight, and we'll win that fight now. In theory, we should win that fight.
No, it's gonna be like 4 versus 4.
Yeah, and if I go push that node and make the Mesmer go back, then you know it's like a 3 versus 4. You know.
Yeah.
And then
if
we'll
you
win
do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know we win that fight, and then we come back. We would rather take a small point deficit and win that major team fight. You know, then put them in a deficit from us 2 capping, and that's how we've been actually rolling that. Because a lot of teams, like, I used to do that on my old team, is be a staff Ellie and go push those nodes and force like 2 people back and just be an annoying asshole to everyone.
I used to play that as well.
You know, like when you're playing against Steve, you know, like if you leave the team fight, like the thief does his job in like 2 seconds, man. Like one guy dies. Like it's so fucking simple. Like if you leave the team fight, it's gonna be 2 versus 4. After the thief burst, if you get my point.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like, if you compare Thief roaming versus like Dagger Ellie roaming, like the Thief will definitely win. But I think that the Dagger Ellie has a stronger presence in those fights. We actually use H-Man, our 100 Blade Warrior, as a defensive roamer to get him from, you know, if point A is our home and point B is mid, point A and B is what he's going for. And I'm roaming. I'm the guy that's pushing their point because Red Lightning gets me there so quick.
Yeah.
And you know, even though they took away weapon swapping to grant you almost perma swiftness, yeah, I do pop my auras to actually, you know, give me that swiftness when I need it. But but a lot of what I have noticed is that because Dagger Ellies are so strong right now, or a lot of people are being like more competent with Dagger Ellie. People are actually like peeling. So like the Thief sees me peeling out. You know, he might fucking, or the Mesmer says, hey, dude, I gotta go back. I think Vane is over there. You know, they'll peel him back, and then they'll just try to wipe me, and then they'll just go back mid. You know, I mean, they won't even need to fucking drop a port. They'll just try to go up there. So, like, lately, my job is, if that Mesmer is like 100%, he's full up, he hasn't been in that team fight long, I just pop his port and run. I pop his port, go right back to mid. If I can win that fight, I'll do it. But we pretty much try to keep even numbers everywhere we go. And that is our main purpose, is keeping even numbers. And a huge counter to what that situation in general, we wait, or I'll wait until their Mesmer comes up, or I'm watching them and then we'll tell our Mesmer to come up. We didn't do that too much today with Zeph, but we do that with Z, and we have done it with our previous Mesmer. Is that I'll wait until their Mesmer comes up, and then once I see their Mesmer come up, I'm immediately peeling to theirs. But I do wait until my Mesmer is about halfway, so that way he's essentially taking my place up there, so it's almost an even fight, or it's still 4v5 and not like a 3v5. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I go pop his port, and then I come directly back to that fight. So you're putting them in a pit because you tell your players, or they know instinctively to play defensive because it's an even fight. I go pop his port, I come back mid, and then now we got the upper hand because I'm fresh cooldowns, and I just kind of come in and just burst them because they got cooldowns on, they're on cooldown. It's like something super simple, but I feel like pushing a staff Ellie or some type of bunker to a far node can be super easily countered, especially if you're trying to play for mid. If you're trying to play for like far node and home node, then I don't think it's as easy to counter as that. But PZ actually used to do that to us. They used to send K-Pud build Guardian to us on our home node, and he used to just
strong.
It is so strong. It is so flippin' retarded, and it used to count. Him himself used to counter almost every single one of us except for our Necro, and even our Necro was like, dude, man, he just keeps clearing my condies. Just keep clearing my condies, and I hated that. I hated that build, and I felt like that build is way too strong. But once we started doing like the fucking, all right, they want to do that, let's 5-man mid, and then let's go push our home point. Like, or using Mesmer port really aggressively.
Right.
Like today, we played Alpha, and they beat us on Kylo. And the reason why they're beating us is because we were playing far node on Kylo. We sent 4 people over there.
Are they decent team?
What's that?
Are they decent team? Like, I haven't seen them. Like, I don't even know those guys.
Yeah, Alpha is pretty strong. They used to be really known when it was like kind of just like free tourneys. Pages weren't out yet.
Okay.
And then I think some of their guys stopped playing. But
yeah, their team was disbanded for quite some time, and I think they just remade like last week or something. So, yeah.
So they're pretty strong. They're definitely the type of team that will capitalize on errors you make. I mean, they know how to do that. They know what they're doing. The reason why they're beating us is because their Mesmer would just go mid, to where they'd have their Guardian go there first. We'd 4-man it. Their Mesmer would just go mid, and he'd drop a port on mid, and then they would 5-man Zergus on the node that we were pushing 4-man at. I mean, just naturally an uneven fight. They now have like stab and time warp and all that stuff. All we have is time warp, shit like that. So the way we were countering that, or I told Zeph to counter that, is for Zeph to go drop by mid and just leave a port. Just leave a port right in that Mesmer's face. And essentially what it's doing is that Mesmer now knows, shit, if I leave this, immediately Zeph's going to pop his port and come right back to mid, neutralize, or even take a cap. So, and if we were in a hole on that node, like they fucking, they're 5-man pushing us and we're in a hole, he just drops his port and, we all port over there, blah, blah, blah. Kind of reset fight almost.
Right.
So
that's a similar strat to what I did when we had a double Mesmer.
Oh, yeah. Double Mesmer's super, super strong. Oh, my God.
Yeah, double quickness all the way.
Yeah.
Double quickness, double portal, which means you can either use double portal offensively, or you can split it, one defensive portal, one offensive portal. It's just...
Oh, you can use them both as defensive portal.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes,
I was talking about that before. To use it defensively, one Mesmer uses port, he ports you back, and then you fucking come and port him back, and just cheer
exactly.
around.
Yeah.
It's always a 5-man fight on mid.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely strong, but I haven't seen too many people that really capitalize on double Mesmers. You know what I mean?
There's
Oh, go ahead.
What were you gonna say? Go ahead. I was gonna say.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say I haven't seen 2 strong Mesmers do it. I think 2 strong Mesmers, 2 massive shatters, time warps in mid would just absolutely wreck if not played right.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you time those 2 fucking shatters, oh my God.
Yeah.
So many dead people after that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I definitely
And if
agree.
not, at least one dead target.
I think there was actually a team in EU called like Black Knight, something like fucking stupid ass name anyway. And they actually played double Mesmer. And I think it was like before paid tournaments. But yeah, they actually did well.
Yeah.
They beat Paradigm and
it could
like
be definitely really strong. It'd force you to change strat against them. Because they can keep up that 5-man pressure.
Even now they buffed them, so...
Yeah, right? And I didn't understand that buff too much, but oh well.
No.
25 might stack? Oh man.
Must be accept.
I think, I was talking to Zeph about it, but I personally think the Mesmers that are macroing right now in NA are kind of ruining the game for Mesmers. Because
I agree.
Mesmers are strong as it is, but you can tell when you go against a macro Mesmer and you go against just a Mesmer that's playing legit. You know what I mean? You can always tell. And And
yes, you can still do it fucking fast. So
you
like,
can, but like.
But there's a window of reaction time.
Yeah.
There's not with the macro. It's way too quick.
Yep. And I just think that those Mesmers, and someone said it, Cade, the thief I was talking about earlier, actually brought it up too. He's like, yeah, and then they're ruining it for Mesmers right now. Like that entire game, like now ANET's got to like consider what they're gonna do against either A, macros, or B, shatter damage. You know what I mean? So to where, I mean, I do personally believe shatters are a little too strong. Actually, like really strong. And I do believe that Thieves Burst shouldn't be as bursty. I feel like certain classes, for example, 100 Blades. When the game first came out, everyone's like, fuck, dude, 100 Blades, OP, OP, OP. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's still like,
yeah.
People still whine about it.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't even whine about that because it's so easily avoided. You can't avoid
exactly.
that.
But how the fuck do you avoid like shadow step backstab combo, man?
Exactly.
When you die in fucking Basilisk Venom, like you can't do shit about it.
Yep.
It forces a break stun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Immediately, like I know, like I was telling Zeus.
even you like break stun out of that, like you had like fucking 5k health after that.
Like, I was telling fucking Zeus over here that when I know I'm going against like a backstab thief, dude, I camp misform. Like my finger is so ready to pull that trigger.
Same here, man.
If I don't, man, I'm just fucked. Like, there's no way around it. I mean, if you neutralize his entire burst or he fails in any way, like he's stuck in short bow.
He's always gonna hit the steel and cloak and dagger, and that's like fucking 10k.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost always. But he will definitely when you don't see him, and that's most of the time.
Yeah.
Because a good thief is not gonna, hey, I'm running straight at you, obviously.
No, definitely.
No way.
But I mean, the whole Basilisk thing, like with Basilisk Steel, Cloak and Dagger, even if we do have the defensive mechanic as Elementalists to misform away, but if you're half a second too slow, that misform might as well have been wasted anyway because there's too much damage on you now.
Yeah. They can just be totally aggressive and Heartseeker you down. Just simply. Maybe if it was something as simple as like, I don't know, like I couldn't even say like the stealth clipping alone makes that almost impossible to avoid. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you shouldn't be able to come out of stealth at a certain timing, like because like I don't know if you guys been against it, but even the pistol dagger build that is just bleed spec and you gain health on stealth and shit like that. It's super strong. It's a super strong 1v1 build that if a thief pushed far node, he'd fuck a Mesmer up all day. Like as long as he avoided shatters, he'd be okay. But it's like the game isn't balanced around 1v1s, and I understand that. Like the risk has to be greater than the reward, or the reward has to be greater than the risk. And with thieves, it's especially true. He can't just come into a mid fight and just like start putting damage on target. He's got to short bow up and know that he can get that gib off, and know that that gib is going to mean something for his team. If he gives someone that's in the back and we have 3 teammates around to res me, it's not going to mean much, and he just eats cleave damage from everyone. To where, like, same thing with warriors, man. Like I think warriors are actually a little underpowered right now, and that's why people aren't using them. It's too easy to put conditions, and it's too easy to kite warriors. And I think they need something different. Although, personally, I would get raped. Like, a dagger early versus warrior that has better fucking movement, Condi clear, anything like that, just totally raped.
Or just stability. Stability
flat out. Like, if you have, like, let's say, 2 Guardians, like, triple shout, like, massive Condi cleansing, like, oh my god, like, you can't fucking get any Condis up, so...
Yeah.
Who's gonna be OP after that?
Yeah, it is true. I mean, a full power comp would rape those Guardians, though. Like,
I mean, you can counter conditions so fucking easily, man. Like,
no, I agree.
It's way too easy.
Like,
now you can.
We're actually like, that's funny you bring it up because we were running a full Condi cleave comp yesterday. Like, we were trying to make it work if someone was running trying to run a counter to us. I was on NG, and I'm not good at NG. Like, I'll tell you that right now. I'm just not good at it. And H-Man is extremely good warrior, but he's on his ranger, and granted, like, that trap ranger spec doesn't have a super high skill cap, but, it's still a new class for him. And we were running that, man, and, like, it's just too easy to avoid the Condis. Like, you have to literally set up everything you do. Like, I was running Toolkit on my NG just simply to pull people into, like, a snare, and that way we can, epidemic around and, fuck him up. But, like, when we played it right, like, a Guardian had to burn all 3 shouts just to get rid of that first Condi, that first set of Condis. Like, it was really powerful, but it's a lot harder to run, and it's a lot more defensive to run than a full power build. Like, a full power build, it's about being as aggressive as you possibly can. When
exactly.
When you run a full Connie build, it's about always being on the defensive. And I think, personally, NGs right now, they're GIMP. They're really GIMP. With what they're doing in the NA meta is nothing. Like, you don't see NGs. It doesn't work to put an NG on off node, because that means it's a 5v4 and keep all game. They have to be super aggressive. Like, the team has to continuously push far node and mid and all shit like that, and it just doesn't work in the NA meta, not the NA scene. Like, I know there's a lot
I don't actually know if you know, like, that's actually the main comp we used to play. Epidemic engineer conditions, man. Like,
yeah,
that's what we used to play, like, long time.
Yeah, we try to use it, man, but it's not to mention, like, we don't have as much skill on it as other people do. Like, it just it seemed like there's too many counters to that. You know what I mean? To where
I know. Like, it's tough to pull off.
Yeah,
it is.
At some points, but sometimes it's like fucking piece easy.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, people just melt around and they just fall over and
it's sounding big ass epidemic.
Yeah, yeah.
Team winning epidemics for the win.
Well, the problem with it is it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
If it was consistent, it would be amazing.
Well, like,
because I used to have a team that ran that too. Go ahead, Bane.
What was really great, like, I made this total little jerk off pistol NG build, and people like totally laugh at it, but it was really strong. It had the snare, and what it was lacking was like a oh shit button. And so I put toolkit on, and I was using that shield as a shield block. Of course, I wasn't fast with it because I didn't know like my keybinds and shit for the personal NG, but it was working really well. But what I loved about toolkit the most was the magnet pull. Like, any necro or thief that tried to sit away, I would drop the box of nails and magnet them, and I would tell them I'm about to magnet, and then just snare them and let our team just do work with condies, and it was glorious. Like, we would just put mad condies on his body as he's in downstate and spread it around when they're trying to res. It was glorious.
You guys didn't play with Epidemic though?
Yeah, we did play with Epidemic.
Ah, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, Necro's running Epidemic, and we had a Trap Ranger, and Entangling Root and all that stuff, and then I was running that double pistol. I wasn't sure how I felt about double pistol over, pistol shield, but who knows? It seemed to work, and if a team was really smart with it and made strats around it, then I think it'd be super strong and it'd be hard to beat. But like you said, a double guardian.
Engineer actually played double pistol with nades.
I was trying nades. I just wasn't sure if it would be viable though. 30% damage decrease. I mean, I don't know much about NG, but
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so you'd have to send that question to Teldo or Mags or something like that. No, I couldn't really answer it too much. But.
He's actually playing the Airho build, if you guys even like remember that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Airho from
AC?
Yeah.
His build was really good.
Yeah, he's actually using it. What it's like.
It's funny. That you mentioned that. Like, I went back and I was like watching, Power's old videos when he was on AC, and watching how much the meta has changed and like the player skill has changed is so funny.
It's so good. It's so good to watch that again.
Yeah, like to where you'd be like, man, this guy is absolutely horrible. Like now he's a super strong player. It's just that's the meta back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I do have a couple questions for Vane and Purie. I'm like an interviewer.
Oh wow.
Vane, like with your team, since you play H-Man on defensive roamer, right?
Yep.
That's. Did you do that because that's a good answer to Thieves? Because do you believe that Warrior has a good matchup versus Thief? Or why did you do that?
Well, I do it specifically because the biggest issue we found when pushing Portal was if they were collapsing in any way on their node to regroup, or we killed the enemy team in some type of stagger, at least have a higher chance to survive and get away than a Warrior does. I mean, like I said, a Warrior's way too easy to kite. He's way too easy to mobilize. To where, of Ellie, like me, the spec I'm running, I can use my, arcane spells, defensively by rooting them like 1,500 meters away or chain chilling them. Don't even got to be close. You know what I mean? Ride the lightning, I just get enough distance and I'm gone. I'm just out. Sometimes I still get caught up, but it really depends on if my team is calling out who's rezzing, when they're rezzing, and if we have map awareness. Like they'll tell me.
Wait, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. Do you run Elemental? The 30 Arcana points where the arcane skills give a condition?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
And
Alright, now it makes sense. Because I run evasives. Okay, gotcha.
I used to run evasive.
That's really interesting.
But double arcane skills. That's 2 blinds, man.
Yep.
Too good.
Yes.
You can use both of them for stomping, and I fucking absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's really strong. I feel like if a player that's
you don't need to float the
them,
mist form. You
exactly.
Don't need to float the mist form. Yeah.
It's so strong. I was so failing with mist form today. Like I was getting a little ping issue, and like you're so really quick with mist forming, so I was like stomping, and I would try to mist form right away, and I totally just mist form and like look at the target I was trying to stomp. I was like, fuck, total fail. But, and not to mention the burst capability that you have with that, like the amount of burning that you can apply with those. Right. God.
Fuck burning, man.
yeah, burning's strong. But I'll tell you what's stronger. Confusion.
It's the strongest tick in this game. It's so crazy.
Oh my God,
confusion has actually confusion ticks are so strong. Yeah.
No man, what's the best thing, man? Earth 5 and rotate your fucking arcane skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that a little bit differently. Vayne and I run like almost completely different builds, like in 2 opposite directions. It's just really interesting how they both work because I play Scepter Dagger. And I wanted to go over the point where he was talking about how you can use arcane skills to blind, right? So that you can stomp.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I play Scepter, I have a blind on auto cast or automatic cast, almost instant cast. I mean, on whenever I want to blind. So essentially, it's the same approach, except with my weapon set that allows my utilities to be something else. Yeah, it's a bit more efficient.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with yours, you have the flexibility of whatever attunement I want to use to give this certain type of condi, I can do it.
Yeah.
And it's on a lower cooldown than my utilities because I use Teleport and Arcane Shield, which is a minute and 15 seconds, respectively.
Yep.
With Mistform, obviously. So, yeah, it's really interesting how there's 2 takes on it, and they both work as long as you do certain jobs. And I like seeing stuff like that because it's just, you can see the meta evolve on things that players like to do, not necessarily what players think is OP.
Yeah.
It just takes a certain amount of dedication to what it is that you want to do.
Yep.
And then I was going to ask a question for Purie as well, since I already asked you about the warrior. What's like the main comp on EU right now, and what's the biggest problem you run into?
Yeah, like what I said earlier, it's the Thief, Ellie, Mesmer, Guardian, obviously. Fuck did I miss? Necro.
Is the last one, like you said, like it's mainly Thief, Guardian, Mesmer,
and Necro, yeah.
And Necro, and then is the last one X?
Ellie is bunker.
Oh, Ellie.
People just send the bunker Ellie the far point. And he's wasting people's time there. And Thief is basically defensive roamer for that comp. Yeah, it's like, how should I actually put it? Yeah, the Ellie is basically just a guy who, like, you can't deal with that like with one guy. Like, you need 2 people to kill it. Like, one Mesmer, no way.
Yeah,
like
I would agree. I would definitely agree.
Yeah, you need like fucking 2 minutes to kill it.
Yeah.
So that's why people take like Thief. Like, that's the highest burst damage on the game. Like, you can't evade it. Like, if you don't see it coming. So,
right.
No, I definitely agree.
If you get the combo of like it's 4 versus 5, like right away, like on a team fight.
So is that
core damage? Yeah, still decent.
Okay.
So
your biggest problem is bunker Ellie onto the back point?
Basically, yeah. Necro, Mesmer, nah.
Have you found an answer to it yet, or is the Thief just like what you believe is?
You kind of need the fucking Thief to kill the Ellie. Like, even it's like unkillable Ranger, if you know what I'm speaking of, like the tanky one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
You need like Mesmer and Thief to kill it.
Yeah.
How about like what do you think of? Okay, let's say Mesmer is gonna go. Let's say you don't have a Thief, right? Let's say you replace Thief with Ellie. Okay. Let's say you want to secure your back point because you know that the shitstorm is coming. Like tanky Ellie is coming, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you make the Ellie, because my answer to that, without having a thief, was you make the Ellie run to back point first, so you get as many picks on it as possible until the Mesmer comes. Once you see the Ellie, immediately put him in combat and chill him or CC him or do something, at least to burn his teleport or cooldowns or something, before he actually gets on the point. And usually, 9 times out of 10, we would be able to cap home point before he gets there. And then that doesn't become as big of a problem, right?
That's what we are doing, but it's not enough, you know?
Yeah, like,
wow,
if
really?
he uses port cantrip, he can still get there in time.
Yeah.
You would have to train him out left door the entire time and efficiently get there. Is he using the Scepter bunker build or the Staff bunker build?
Yeah, Scepter, the most fucking annoying one.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Radom?
Even worse than the Staff Ellie one.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, I mean, I don't play Mesmer much, but I'm assuming, like, if he burns port cantrip, wouldn't that be better off for you? Like, would you be able to down him quicker? He couldn't really... He'd have misform, and...
Yeah, he'd have misform and probably Armor of Earth.
Yeah.
But...
No, like, you can basically have, like, anything plus misform.
Gotcha.
It's not about the utilities.
Right. The utilities is not the issue, but most of them will run TP, yeah, for the mobility.
Yeah. Obviously,
yeah. I'd recommend just zerging mid. Do a 4-man push to mid, and then keep your back point neutralized, and then win that, and then come back down, and then wipe him. You might be in a little bit of a point deficit.
That's the thing. Like if you don't cap their home point, or even like neutralize it, or keep fighting there, they're gonna have 1 point capped, and you're gonna fight like 4 versus 4, like fair fight middle.
But
and
you
your
have
home
no
point
points.
is exactly. But, and if you lose the fight, oh my god, you're fucked.
Yes,
you're fucked.
I agree. Yeah. But what Vayne is trying to say?
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. Like if you leave the Mesmer defending the fucking home point against Ellie, think about the team fight. No quickness, no Mesmer, like at all. Yeah. Who's gonna win the team fight?
Well, what if you had in offensive roamer, burn port for that Mesmer, like that you see that Mesmer coming up, and he's literally playing back. He's waiting for that guy to come up. He almost cuts him off. Not necessarily engages that Mesmer, but he cuts him off. He makes that Mesmer now make a decision that he either has to go to keep, or he has to go back to his node. Because essentially what would happen.
But if you do that, the Mesmer can fuck it, just take my point 4 versus 3 and jerk you after that. Like big deal. And your home point is still like neutralized.
Yeah.
So you're still losing at that point.
I can see that happening, but let's see. I'm thinking of I'm trying to think of like I don't know why that doesn't work because I don't know it works here. Let me think of an Ellie that I played a lot against when I was playing on EU. Radom. R-A-D.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he's probably? Team. Oh, okay. Do you think he's probably the best one at that? Because I felt like he was probably one of the better ones when I was playing on EU, at doing that.
Not like you can't say like some guy is the best, but he's decent, obviously. Like
no, I'm not saying like he's the best.
He's a fucking pain in the ass if he's on your point as a bunker. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Like.
Okay. Well, I was just asking to kind of gauge. Like one of the better players. Like, would you say he's one of the better ones at that?
Let's go with that.
Okay. So, why don't you try to emulate it so that why don't you just go into whatever regular game, whatever. Have Radom, have yourself have a point neutralized, and have Radom come into it, and then try to figure out an answer to it. Like I know because Mesmer is lacking the stability. Especially when Bunker Ellie comes and does that, he's going to neutralize it or maybe even take it like all day.
Yeah, Tornado, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it got nerfed,
you can fuck that up with Confusion though.
Yeah, you can.
There you go.
But just saying, like, all you need like 2 ticks of Tornado.
What if you guys all 4-man zerg the Ellie as he comes to the door? Let them not necessarily cap keep. Like, you can send your Guardian up there, but what if you, like, 3-man the Ellie as he comes through?
Yeah,
he would die in seconds. Like,
right. That's what I was saying.
Is power. So like go out the right door.
That's the thing. Like if you do that, you're basically wasting time. They're gonna get your guardian at keep. Like they're gonna get keep in that case.
Right. No, you don't send the guardian to keep though. You want to make it a 4v5, like what you're saying. Essentially, it becomes like as if when Vayne said, offensive roamer goes to do portal, and then Mesmer says, well, fuck you, I'm gonna stay mid-fight, win it, and come wipe you later. It's the same concept, except you do it defensively on your home point. But what have you tried doing the peeling thing like I'm saying, and then you send more help to kill the Ellie and make it a 4v5, and then you push the team mid, because then the Ellie is on 15-second
cooldown. Hold on.
Okay.
Like, was it like who's going keep in the beginning then?
Well, you know what we do a lot is if people will do like a 3-man Zerg out of their left door or their door, and try to push our far node. We actually keep everyone, but like the Mesmer. Mesmer will go cap. Everyone downs whoever's trying to cross, no matter what. We all down them, and then now they're down a player, and then we just go to keep. Pretty much all fresh up. You know, now we're out of combat, and we go up to keep. And I can even like wait for that Mesmer to start running up the stairs or wherever they're at, and I can then go pop his port. You know what I mean? If he doesn't want to go back, I'll just get a neutral and run because the neutrals are so quick. But essentially, zerging him, messing him up, and then go up there as like 4 men strong might work. It might work really well too, because that's what we do, and that's how we actually counter against people trying to push our home node. We let them get a couple points on that keep cap, but then we essentially go up there, we win that team fight, and that's game. Or we can even go rush their off node. We just wiped one, now we can go push the Mesmer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eventually rotate back and try to take mid if you're not comfortable with taking far. Personally, like on first and third map, I'm not super comfortable with taking far. I think like by the time you kill someone and if you remain out of combat or remain in combat, they can get there and keep training you and wearing you down eventually, no matter how good you are. You know what I mean? No matter if they're funneling in or not, they can eventually wear you down.
But that's the thing, like when you're playing against Thief and Mesmer, like if they get on your guardian, man, he's done in like 5 seconds. Like even like like after the cooldowns anyway, like he won't last long. Like you can't like the basic concept about it. Like if you like put like 4 players on the Ellie on the close point, like you're wasting at least 10 seconds. He can like mist form, right the line, like just do like basic kiting for like at least a few seconds.
Right.
And man, your guardian is gonna die in that time. Like I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Mesmer. Yeah,
I definitely agree. I just think that
and then you like, I don't know about you guys, but fighting team fight without guardian, man, like
it's
same
rough.
thing. Like
yes, it is incredibly rough.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like basically same idea. Like if you don't fight with Mesmer, like you don't have quickness, you don't have Mesmer on your team fight, no boon removal.
Yeah.
Man, like you're gonna fucking lose the fight.
Yeah, I think where the EU meta differs is that you try to keep it on an even playing field. So like where you guys want those newts, completely. Where the NA meta, what I've noticed is that we'll fall back a couple points or a few points to where we know we can secure something. You know what I mean? Shit, like I'll go push my that Mesmer's off node after we wipe someone like that. If they try to do that to us, I'll go push the Mesmer's off node, and now it's up to the Mesmer if he wants to port back or not. If he doesn't, and they say he's not opening port, or I see that port not opening up, I'll just come right back up, and I'm now fresh cooldown. You know what I mean? So, but like a lot of Mesmers prefer to port back. We faced a team that didn't do it today, and it was actually kind of boning them over because we were still winning team fights, and then I would come in with fresh cooldowns and have a free burst. So yeah, no, I can definitely see the pickle you're in. Like when we were running staff allies, man, that's all we used to do. Is be assholes.
Yeah. The same thing.
Yeah. No, it was definitely really strong. Especially staff LA though on Legacy is so nasty.
Yes, on Legacy it's very good.
Oh god.
Especially if the enemy team has waterfall point, because of the places that you can hide in and line of sight and still be on the point. It is so good with the mobility of Ellie, especially if they're SD.
Yeah.
What's it called? I was gonna say, I find it really interesting, and Purie said, okay, but your point is neutralized. They have their point, and you're losing points, and it's a time clock thing. I feel like the mentality there in the NA scene becomes, hey, it's 500 points to win, you know? Maybe losing 60, 50, 60, 50, 60 would be like a big amount,
like,
yeah?
it's not about that one. Like, if you lose team fight, like, normally in the game, you lose 3 team fights, like, you're done. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Game is like,
Yeah, I would
if that
agree
happens,
with
you may only lose like 2 team fights.
Yeah.
The game is over. Yeah.
that.
So that's the thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You
But
don't want to give any free points, man. Like none.
that's really interesting though. Like because in the NA meta, it becomes we'll fight you when we're absolutely ready, when we think it's going to be at least a fair fight.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure, take your 60, 50, 60 points, but what happens when we win this fight outright, or we win this fight big time, or maybe we win this fight with 2 people left?
It's actually not about like giving the advantage to the enemy team like at any point. Like it's just getting ahead and keeping it.
Okay, so like I said, that's really interesting because like in the EU meta, like I can see where your mentality is, where it's like I want to control the pace of the game, the entire game.
No, I'm just saying like you guys need like test that out. Like you don't need like good players to do it. Like I mean like the best players of those classes, like Spectator, Von Curly, Center Close Point, I mean Far Point, Necro, Thief, Guardian, and Mesmer. Yeah, simple.
Yeah,
there's no fucking tactics involved. You just play free base, and if you snowball, the enemy team gets like no points, man. Like,
no, I definitely can see it. Like, to where it'd be super strong, especially if you win the team fight.
I'm saying you can even snowball against like good teams. Like,
yeah, I definitely agree. It's seems rough. At what was it? Gohambro said. By no means am I trying to say that an American meta is by any means better than the EU meta.
No.
I am just simply trying to, like, Zeus and I, and Purie, we're trying to kind of just formulate decisions between the players. We're trying to keep a steady base and a friendly base between us. You know, offer strats, throw them out there, you know, change current metas and stuff like that. Like, I actually took Zeph's meta. He gave me something to run. He said, EU's running this right now. You guys should try it out. We tried it out, and we dominated for like a week or 2 weeks straight until someone tried to run a counter to us. Then we had to change it up again. So by no means are we trying to say, you know, North Americans are this, and this. So I'm just trying to throw that out there to Purie. So, you know, maybe he tries it, and if they're successful or not.
Yeah.
So, but it's the same kind of respect level in return. Just like when Zeph first did that to me, I realized that it's more of a friendly player, competitive player reaching out to another. By no means are we trying to run super secret strats and, you know, stuff like that.
No way.
If anything, we're trying to help Purie find this answer to this annoying ass problem we have.
Yeah.
No, man, like everyone is actually playing it, so that's the thing.
Oh, everybody on EU is playing it. We only have
That's
maybe a couple of teams doing it here. So, but they got countered, so they like that was the issue. They stopped doing it.
What the fuck, man? Like if you have like decent team, like you can't fucking lose, man, with that setup. No way. Like conditions don't work. I don't know. Like you can't like outburst the comp. Like no way.
Yeah.
Oh man, so tough.
Yeah,
like the fucking Bunk Kelly, man. Like you guys just fucking test that. Like Wayne, just fuck your spec. Go Bunker, Spectator. You're gonna love it. Tanking two people.
Really good.
What about a Dagger Necro? Would you be able to lock him up?
Man. Who the fuck plays that?
Our guy. Our Necro actually plays it. And
we have very interesting stuff.
Extremely successful with it. Extremely successful.
Kidding me?
Not even kidding, man. Dagger Ellie and Dagger Necro is super strong if you fucking can peel through your Necro. Necro becomes focus target. Oh my god, Time Warp and Lich. I'm surprised
Time Warp and Lich is
it
really
seems
strong.
so behind the times because I know people tried it in the past, but when we chain that up, I sit on top of my Necro, I give him Shocking Aura, I heal him, I give him Frost, all of it.
Yes, it's incredibly troll, and it's the same
sounds like
totally
free tournaments, man. It sounds like free tournaments.
It does. It sounds fucking so loopy and out there, but you know, as Zeph, like tonight we were doing it, and it's so strong. Like Zeph and Khalifa, for some reason, immediately had that synergy between each other. Like both of them had just these massively awesome, just clutch plays tonight that just turned some fights. Like Zeph had this clutch res, and then I immediately rezzed up, and I went to res Khalifa, and I think Zeph went down, and then he res him, and then they time warp Liched, and it was just game, and it won us the game. Like it was awesome. Tonight was pretty fun, but yeah, it seems totally
I
troll.
had quite the fun night as well. What's it
Is it
called?
actually uploaded, by the way?
What's that?
Huh?
Is it uploaded on your channel? Like, is it up?
Yeah,
it's probably recorded. Yeah, automatically.
It's actually in this stream session.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I need to check
so
that
when
one.
he ends it, yeah.
Yeah, I need to check that one.
What's
At some
it called?
point.
Purie, like if you think about it though, like how hard is Lich Form to handle, right? It's kind of like the same concept as Bunker Ellie, where it's like you don't even need to be good. It's just Lich Form, Time Warp, auto attack, press buttons, and it wrecks face, right? That's why that works so well. So I mean, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
From my perspective, at least.
Kiri, are you still in my stream right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you see that link you just posted for YouTube? It's actually like a montage of a lot of North American players. The Necro at the very end is Khalifa, and he's playing Dagger.
Okay.
That guy has 2 montages.
What time is it? What time is it, Tom?
Let me see. I'll look right now for you. All right, it should be around 11 minutes total.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, 10:55 is when it starts. Extremely strong Necro, just makes really clutch calls when we need it inside. But it really depends on if your team is peeling for him. Like that's pretty much my job.
Yeah, that it's really dependent on peeling the Necro,
I don't know,
high
like,
priority.
It's scary.
I don't know, like dude, that fucking thief on the Necro, bam, he's done. Like,
yeah, that's
yeah.
That's definitely my job. As soon as he calls out thief, or someone's on me, my immediate reaction has to be to go back and peel for him. Like thief is not really scary when a dagger Ellie's sitting on his face. You know what I mean? So But yeah, multiple targets are on him. Then we definitely have to peel. We definitely have to make sure he's up because even having one person down in a team fight is scary. Like it puts you in such a defensive pit.
Right.
So
that's when you actually hopped on, Purie. Vane and I were talking about the how strong the Necro is right now, and we were talking about how my team comp has a 2v2 that can actually fight his 2v2, and it's almost completely skill based in terms of nobody really has an advantage because it's control versus control.
Yeah.
And it's whoever lands what first, or whoever puts whoever.
What 2 versus 2 actually?
It's a control warrior running double endure pain, axe shield. No, axe mace axe.
And like some kind of like opus spec or something.
Yeah, it's opus. It's opus spec. It is opus spec. The control warrior, exactly.
Yeah.
And then scepter dagger Ellie, that is DPS, not bunker.
Okay, like how DPS? Like what amulet?
Valkyries with Berserker Jewel.
Okay.
Versus Necro, with the dagger and the lich form thing, and dagger Ellie peeling for him. So I have the range, and I can let my control guy go in there. If he does land his control, then I get to freely burst in fire spec for free. Or the worst thing that happens is other guy burns Sunbreak. We're at an advantage, and then if something else happens where we get outplayed, then the advantage is back to 50-50. And it was really interesting because we talked about how it would go, but we want to see actually play against each other now, because
what I'm thinking of, it's about the opener, yeah, that's gonna decide it.
The opener will probably decide it, but the thing is, it's not so huge in an advantage in terms of matchup that the other team can easily have it back. That's what we were talking about.
I mean, you're talking about two basically class cannons, going 2 versus 2. It's about opener, you kind of fall back.
Oh, it's not glass cannon. Warrior is very tanky, and I'm also pretty tanky with Valkyries and the water thing. And the idea behind that is if he gets Condis on him, I can cleanse it for him. the warrior, because that's the warrior's weakness. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you don't cleanse that many conditions though.
No, he would be able to clear stuff like my chill,
Yeah.
which is devastating to warriors, as you know. So it'd be really based on the synergy between the two couples of who is going to actually win that fight, and it was cool. It was cool to theory craft that out. Like the warrior is doing my job for him, and the necro is doing his job as the Ellie. So it's crazy. It's basically the same mindset as when we would go into a tourney. We're playing similar roles, but just on different characters, different tunes. So like this game has such a high skill cap that it's more than just how well you know your class. It's about how well you know every class, and what I don't know, the build synergy between your team and everything like that. Which is
I'm just thinking like the Necro would go down quite fast. Like I think Necro would actually like fall down before Ellie or the I mean like whoever you like focus on the enemy side. Like I think the Necro one is gonna like go down first.
Well, it could be something as simple as like I go to Zeus and I kind of updraft if I get an updraft off on him, and then I go back to the warrior and magnetic grasp and root him off of my necro, and then now the necro can immobilize Zeus and we can just do free damage to him.
Yeah. Then now I'm on a back foot.
Exactly.
And I have to burn a mist.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Just fucking CC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's that's why I say it's CC battle. See,
it's kind of it's whoever outplays each other pretty much. So
I enjoyed that because I was like, okay, I do have a question for you, Purie. You think like let's scrap SD bunker and let's say you find an answer to that, and some people have to shy away from that now. Do you think the future of the game is going to be on teams that have which team has the better control and burst after that control has been put on somebody or like maybe several targets? Or do you think the game is going to still be revolved around who gets the most AoE in big team fights and shit like that?
I think they actually said something about like nerfing AoE. But
what I'm
feeling, that's well. Like what I'm feeling, like if they overdo it, like man, like you don't want to do fucking AoE anymore. Like that's a single target only after that. So it's gonna be quite lame.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like the AoE can be like it's do too much at some point, but still somewhat fine. I don't know. Do you actually like agree with that? But I don't know. Like when you have thieves and stuff like that, man. Like fuck, there's too much single target. There's too much AoE. There's too much fucking everything here. So
I really think that the simple question of what do they want the meta to be needs to be asked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They've been dancing around that for so long that they want this to be an esport. What do you want from us? Because we will play around that. And if you guys want to build that, then let us know so we can actually focus on that. You know what I mean?
The top teams will cater to
like
that.
when they changed the respawn to 15, like oh my god,
yeah,
like what the fuck, like we didn't see this one coming.
Yeah, that just flew out of the woodworks.
What? Say again?
The 15-second respawn timer instead of the wave respawn timer.
Yeah.
Which at first it was kind of shocking, and then like I'm on the fence with it still. Like before, certain teams would just continuously funnel in. And because they're funneling in, that would win them fights. You know what I mean?
Dude, staff and bunker card and my god.
Like as soon as the staff gets there, it just changes the fight. And
Right.
And then they changed that, and you saw certain teams suffer from that. And then now it's the teams that are suffering are the brand new teams, or like the teams that just kind of like lose their head in the fights, and they're like, "Fuck, we gotta funnel." Because I kind of laugh when teams funnel now. If they keep in a point newt, we're still killing them, gaining points from those kills, and they're in a pit that they'll almost never recover from. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless they get some lucky gib off or something like that. Teams that funnel are the teams that are going to lose now. And
I don't actually know like what the fuck is going on. Like when that change happened, like nobody funneled. Like that's it. Like regroup, like fucking regroup now. Together, like no people are funneling again.
I'll tell you.
I'm not even kidding. Like that's happening in EU. People are just funneling. Like
when
it's very interesting, man.
It was crazy because you remember when I pugged against you guys? in
Oh,
EU?
yeah.
Okay. Well, that team I was with, like, it was totally like a map chat bug, but like they seemed really structured. Like, I don't know if those are like competent players that you know of over there on the EU.
No, never heard of.
Okay, but they all seem super competent. Like they all, and this is I've said this before, but I feel like the EU, because of its wider player base, naturally have a higher skill base than the lower side of the NA. You know what I mean? Because before,
I mean, like you have more players, you have like
yeah.
more better players, more worse players. So like,
right, you guys naturally seemed to have more competent players. Even when I went to flip and hot join, like I was just fucking around on some Guardian. And some random newbie-looking thief, just noob gear, totally shadow step stomp me, like the port stomp. I was like, what? I was like, what is that? I didn't expect that from him. Like,
yeah.
And you come into hot joins over here and you don't see that. So like I think it's kind of turning more into that over here because the community in NA is kind of taking a turn for the better. I think previous top teams were never really active with the community. They were not really promoting much. And I think like the top teams here in NA now are really focused on helping the other people out and
that's a nice thing.
Yeah, giving them comps and strats because we do want more competition. We do want more people playing with us.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just added you, by the way, Purie.
Oh, nice, cool.
Yeah, I think I have you on the other account. My mistake.
Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, oh man, I was gonna say, so you really don't know like whether. Like, you don't really have an opinion on whether you think it's still going to be big team fight, AoE, or more control, or like, what do you what do you think would be the future
like
of the game?
what's the like I don't know, like what I'm thinking of, like they are making the spectator mode, like it's gonna be like what they want it to look like, like that's what's gonna happen, like.
Okay, right.
So,
yeah.
At least that's what I'm feeling of, like what's gonna happen, like.
Yeah. With this North American state of the game that's actually coming up, I know.
Grouch, is it?
Yeah, Grouch told me it's on the 4th. He invited me to it, which I thought was absolutely awesome. I never really thought that I'd kind of be in something like that, which I kind of blushed for. But if it does go down, and I do go in, like one of the big questions I do want to ask is what they want to do and what they want to focus on with the actual current meta. If they want the current meta, like you said, be AoE damage, be more skill-based team fights, whatever they want to do. Cause,
definitely. Should ask that for all of America.
Yeah, I think America and EU want to know.
And EU too,
It's kind of...
It's very confusing right now.
Yeah, it's running circles around it, and it's super confusing, and I think people want to know. And like you said, like the top teams will cater to that. If we know that something is coming that is going to, say, prevent what we're doing now, why don't we start building towards the future almost? You know what I mean? Like, we'll build our teams towards... playing towards what they want.
Yes, exactly.
But there's a lot of questions. I was told that there are some stuff that you can't ask, or I was told that like the company itself can't do certain things. There's restrictions, something along those lines. I can't remember, but I'm assuming there's gonna be some questions that I can't openly ask or something like that. Like that. I don't know what those questions are.
Like loading screen box and stuff.
Yeah,
like they don't like that.
Yeah, they don't like to be called out for something they're taking forever on. Like, if it's something, they did say if it's something critical, they'll try to change it right away. But dude, a Guardian block bug for months, that is fucking critical, man. That is so critical that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Man.
So
who's actually coming on that show, by the way? You guys, and I mean you from QTs, and
I was told it was Jaja from JBUO. I can't remember who it was from PTC. It was supposed to be me, and I'm assuming Java because he's the team leader for PZ. And I think I don't know. That was the setup, or that was like the lineup that he had told me, and that was like maybe a month ago. So being that there is kind of like some new people that are stepping up over North America side, that they'll probably throw some more in there. It might be something like Zizix from Alpha, or
Oh yeah.
It's unfortunate. Like there used to be a guild named Win that we had a lot of respect for. They just had a lot of player skill. Really smart. They were really reactive to when you played. They had strong.
Yeah, what happened to those guys?
They didn't really quit. Last time I talked to them, they did say something about how they wanted to wait until the game kind of refreshed. They came out with stuff like ladders, which I know a lot of teams are doing. Which I always kind of agreed with. Like, I personally believe I'm going to stick with this game until if the game falls in the gutter and completely, and they stop throwing, there's no more servers type thing, then I'll.
Yeah.
But I do believe that I've always said in my streams that I do think that the game itself is growing faster and quicker than any other MMO with the balance that they're doing, and I think they're building it correctly. Like if you think about it, man, like this, World of Warcraft took like 2 years to step up competitively.
Yeah, don't talk about that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
dude, it doesn't have any fucking competition on it. Like it's just fucking flavor of the month comps all day long.
Yeah.
And who plays it better?
Right?
And yeah, who has the biggest legendaries? Like...
Oh yeah, LOL, took like a year and a half, and right. you grow from that. And I think Guild Wars 2, if you think about like the balance of it right now,
like people that don't want to give time to new MMOs, like if it fails, like fuck that, I'm not coming back anymore. Like if it wasn't done like complete package, like when you bought the game, like fuck that, I'm not coming back. The game failed. That's what's happening to like many MMOs. Like I don't know. Did you guys play Aeon, Warhammer Online?
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
did play
that?
Warhammer. Wasn't
I didn't play
it. I didn't play Aeon.
Yeah.
I played other.
But yeah, it was like basically like example. Like
yeah.
People got to max level. Oh fuck this, nothing to do.
Yeah.
Purie, one of the viewers has a question for you.
Oh.
Says is the EU server still running the NA Necro spec, which is Wells?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so same. Same.
Yeah, I'm actually playing it. But,
Purie.
No, wait. I have two Necros. One is Epidemic and one is Wells.
Okay.
Like, depending what we are playing.
Oh, you went back to Epidemic, Corrupt Boon, or just Epidemic?
Yeah, Corrupt Boon Epidemic, man.
Oh my god,
nice.
is so strong.
I know. Like stability stomping. Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah. I feel like when you run that type of Necro though, you need to build a team around it still.
Yeah. That's why we used Engineer with that.
Oh, okay, cool. Sounds good.
Like you can't play it like just Epidemic Necro, no way. Like one Guardian and you're done. Like no conditions after that.
Yeah. What was great though that
sounds very interesting.
Is that we're such an overload of condies that it forced that Guardian to burn all of his shouts at once, and it's really funny. But
that's why we used the Engineer to hide the bleeding stacks.
Yeah, I do agree though that it's too easy to remove conditions to where it's too hard to defend against power almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah, it takes player skill to avoid power comps, to where it takes a few button presses to avoid condition comps. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Like, condition is true damage. You know what I mean? It is not negated by that toughness, and it should be more offensive. Like, you should really feel the fear of having conditions on you. I shouldn't know that.
I mean, how you counter conditions like results, Guardian, Vital, blah blah blah. Like Elise, like condition removal.
Yeah.
Like you can't counter burst with fucking toughness. Like man. Like
it still won't work. I know where you're coming from on that one.
Yeah.
We run a full shout Guardian because our biggest fear is conditions. Like it's our biggest counter, and if someone actually ran that against us, and ran a full Condi Cleave comp, and they played it right, they'll beat us. But it's a different play style, and it's different from what people are streaming, so you don't see that. And that's why I do think Spectator mode is going to be awesome for the game. You know what I mean? You're going to see different play styles, how people do play, if someone is really good or not, or if their class is carrying them. You know what I mean? Just simple stuff. So,
then people can actually watch me play. Like I don't have the upload.
Oh yeah, dude. I have a horrible upload, man. It's
what is it?
I have like a 1.8 upload. So,
dude,
I'm right there with you.
I have less than one.
Too.
I have less than one.
Oh god, I feel bad for you, Purie.
I know.
And you're on EU too, yeah? So servers on EU might not be using XSplit or no?
For streaming?
Yeah,
for streaming.
Dude, I can't. Like less than 1 megabyte upload. So.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, no, he can't. He can't.
I can't. Like I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm barely scraping too, so.
Yeah, I'm the same thing. That's why my actual stream, I run like a higher resolution in a smaller area. I mean, it's really not high resolution at all, but if that stretched out the entire way, then it'd just be no one would watch that. That'd be too ugly. Would you recommend a Mesmer or Necro? Either class is pretty forgiving, but I would recommend Necro first.
Necro, yeah.
Necro. Necros
are I don't actually like Necro. Like when you're starting the game, man. Like you just get fucking stomped. Like
Yeah, you know,
Like you can like defend the burst that's coming to you, like you just
Yeah.
fucking die. But it's easier
it
to play
teaches
than
very good
Mesmer.
habits. It teaches
Yeah,
very good
yeah,
habits.
exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both. Both right now.
I'd say
Necros,
Necro, yeah.
Necros and Mesmers, they are wanted by competitive teams, no matter what. Either way
Oh,
you look
yeah.
at it. You know, Mesmers, it's not as forgiving if you fuck up on a Mesmer. You know, if you do and you don't know to use certain skills at certain times, you're just going to get gibbed. With Necros, it forces you to play defensively. And if you got to watch your positioning, essentially, as when you're playing Necro. If you're playing a Necro and you're right in the middle of the fight, just getting trained, you're just going to go down instantly.
Hold on, I'm gonna actually give him a spec that he can
Nice.
actually start with.
Good guy, Purie.
Yeah, I know, man. He's such a nice guy. Here you go.
I need to make more Ellie build specs and put them on my stream because I have some old ones on there right now.
The stealth rendering, I do think it is kind of game breaking, but it's not so heavy. I think there are other bugs that need to be fixed first. I did get gibbed today, like for the first time in a while, by a thief running the dagger pistol build, and it was literally because I didn't see him for the first 2 hits. And it was so quick after that there was almost nothing I could do. And like I was paying attention to a mid fight, you know, running along a rafter, and I just got pooped on, just dead. It was so quick, so instant, and it was because of the stealth rendering. I don't know what they could do to fix that. To be honest with you, I don't know if it's something like you can't re-stealth like the same time within 2-3 seconds, or you know, after you came out of stealth, something like that. Who knows?
Right.
But yeah, I do think it can be pretty game breaking, but I also think that thieves are so susceptible to cleave damage and AoE damage that they can't be in fights a lot, so they have to pick their fights, and good thieves will do that. I do know that you have to place yourself away from thieves if you don't have any defensives up. It's really just kind of about your positioning. It's the same thing with almost every class. And to be honest with you, I really don't get gibbed by thieves too much. If I do know have my defensives on cooldown, I do try to play super defensively, play in the back, butt hump some other player. You know, he can almost protect me and save me type thing. As for switching classes in mid game, to be honest with you, I never really agreed with the utility locking utility swapping in the first place. I feel like that promotes a lot of comp wars, and I don't like it at all. You know, since a lot of people do decide they want to play the flavor of the month, you know, whole metas and comps and all that stuff like that, I think it kind of locks it up for when, you know, someone runs this random counter to what you're doing, and now they're dominating the entire bracket, not because of player skill, but because they're running a counter comp. You know, simple stuff like, for example, when I would go against a Trapper and join Treb, by simply me swapping like Soldier's Amulet, or, you know, running Cleansing Fire or something like that, or picking something over my arcane utilities, it let me actually have a higher chance of winning that fight, even though it was still not in my favor. Same thing with like a lot of these Mesmers that are like actually macroing right now. I would just simply do something like switch to Soldiers or use Port Cantrip, and it gave me such a higher amount of survivability. It was crazy. It's, you know, I don't know. I just didn't necessarily agree with it in the first place. But that's, again, another question that's going to come from developers is what they want the meta to be. If they want the meta to be like when you're playing LOL and you see, oh, this guy's going to pick this class, I need to pick the counter to it because he's going to be playing whatever. You know, I don't play LOL much. I totally suck at it, so I can't give like a huge example, but I do know it's about countering people in LOL. And I don't know if they want this to turn into comp wars. Holy shit, that's a lot of questions since last time.
Take the link.
Take that link?
Yeah, take the link.
Okay.
Alright, I want to check it as well.
Oh god.
What is it? 5 hours.
25 minutes, 40 seconds.
25 minutes.
40 seconds.
Okay.
40.
God, I gotta get ad blocker again. It's killing me.
I have it. I have 2 browsers. If I'm supporting streamers, I go on Firefox, no ad block, and then Google Chrome automatically has it, so I go on Chrome for that.
5 minutes.
40 seconds, yeah. I'm watching. I have a question.
Yeah, that's example. I see the thief coming. I even call it out. Like, thief coming, bam, down. He stomped, bam, he's out.
Yeah. I'm about to watch right now. I'm at 30 seconds and wouldn't let me go to 40.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Fury got opened up on and haste stumped.
Yeah. Big killers and a fly, man.
Oh, that's... Hey, you're playing against Team Curse.
Mm.
I see. How are they doing, by the way?
Yeah, they're doing great at the moment. Like, one of the best teams in EU.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. But that's the thing, they're like, Teddy fucking bunker everything, like, so fucking gay.
They're using the bunker Ellie thing. Who's their Ellie?
Hyxosisten or something like that.
Oh, high Hyxosisten.
Yeah.
I remember.
How you wanna pronounce it, yeah.
Bring your friends. I do believe that it does promote better synergy between the team.
It replaced me.
actually makes you and forces you to, I guess, have different strats for each map. You can't run the same exact one just because one is successful.
Yeah.
And it also promotes...
like you should be.
Sorry.
Like you should be able. Yeah. You should be able to like run a counter comps to like well-known teams.
Yeah.
You should have guys able to play like 2 or 3 classes.
Yeah.
Basically.
I agree. I played 3 classes.
But I don't see the game being there.
Yeah, I don't really think that it should be about comp wars. I don't think they want it there.
Yeah. Like,
yes.
what do you guys actually think about it? Like, should they disable changing the classes in the game, or should they allow doing
changing
that?
the classes? Oh no, you can change the classes. I thought.
You can still change classes.
What I mean is, like, let's say you have a Mesmer. Well, you have basically 2 fucking same Mesmers, same specs, same stuff, blah blah blah. You win the team fight, you use quickness, done, relock, second Mesmer, new quickness, bam.
Yeah.
Or if the team fight fucks up, oh fuck, they countered us. Let's say I don't want to play Mesmer anymore, I'm gonna play blah and win with that. Like, I'm gonna counter, like, changing in the game or before it starts.
Yeah, what doesn't make sense to me is that they did lock all that shit, but they didn't lock class changes, in the game. But, if, I don't know, see, that's just, again, like, it all falls under the same question of what they want it to be. I do agree that it should
You should write that down, Vane, so that could be a question.
Oh, dude, it's been stuck in my head for so long now. Like, I just have, I've just been thinking that right now they just want everyone to run a balanced meta, balanced comp. And I think that's kind of what works well with in between our team. I would say we're not as balanced as we should be. We're leaning more towards the power side. Good night, Elliewood. But I do think they do want you to run a more balanced team. So if someone does run a counter to you, you have something to swap, not necessarily to in-game, but another player can take up your role and you can fill theirs. So I do think that, like, Warrior or Trap Rangers on Treb, it's too hard of a 1v1. Like, Trap Rangers on Treb are just so heavily
What?
Yeah, oh my god.
I haven't seen that one in EU.
Oh my god. Put a Trap Ranger on Treb.
Yes. Oh, Purie, you gotta try this one.
Dude, yeah.
This one is so
like,
good.
I seen like some of, like, was it like PC using it? Like,
PZ was using it, and then everyone started to.
Okay.
Pretty much the way it was working was like a Trap Ranger on Treb, and this is why it's so powerful. All they have to do is change one thing with Trap Ranger and won't be, is when they throw their traps down, they can throw them down within the walkway, so it almost forces you to hit them. But what makes it super powerful is once they throw their traps down, their traps already start reset cooldown, right? So they can immediately throw like almost another set of traps down by the time you get to their trap, and it sucks balls. So you're almost eating 2 sets if it's a good Trap Ranger. You know what I mean? Like, you can dodge them and stuff, but it makes it really strong. I remember.
But how about like Staff Ellie? Like,
Staff Ellie would go up there and rape.
Good.
Yeah, a Staff Ellie would go up there just down Treb, wouldn't even worry about him. That is the counter to it, is having a high Condy removal class. Just go straight up there and down it. But
we also talked about this.
How about just Ellie? Like, Daka, like 1 versus 1.
As long as if you're actually trying to down the Trap Ranger, I'll tell you the reason why it's extremely hard is because not only
What can happen in EU? It's gonna be fucking bunk early.
Oh, if
he's
it's
just gonna be fucking. He's just gonna be fucking lazing your ass, like not doing anything.
Yeah. If it's a bunker,
you can't kill him. You can't kill him.
Yeah.
He can't kill you. Like,
I would just down Treb. I would just play Staff Ellie and I would just down Treb, to be honest with you, because like that's kind of what it came down to. Is I made a specific build for Trap Rangers that are douchebags on Treb, and that's all I do now. Is I go up there and I down the Treb and I leave. If like I see that I can kill the Ranger, then I'll try. If not, but like trolling.
Okay, it's like in EU, it's one of these, like it's Ellie or T that's coming for you.
Yeah. It's generally the same thing here too.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
A thief can just, if a thief catches a Ranger off guard in that Trap Ranger spec, he can fuck him up. But if that Trap Ranger gets out of that, he can mess a thief up. So.
Yeah. Okay. Or if thief steps on traps. Oh, bad
god,
day.
yeah.
Bad day.
But if he knows a thief is coming at him, all he literally has to do is plant traps under his ass while he's using Treb.
Okay.
You know, he could like short bow him a bit, but that's not going to mean much if the Trap Ranger has another set of traps up. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Yeah.
then,
And not to mention who has the better short bow, thief or ranger.
right? Yeah.
Thief.
Yeah.
Just for 1 versus 1 though.
Yeah.
For team fight though.
Yes.
I don't know. Like it can be like Ellie that the ranger can't kill. So I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
It's
it's
quite fucked
usually gonna be the Condi cleansing, which is Ellie right now that counters it. But the thing is, Vayne does it in a different approach that I do it, which again, this is also very interesting to me because he almost completely changes his whole build specifically to a trap ranger, and just because we play different weapon sets, I play scepter dagger, and he plays dagger. I don't have to get in his face, and with all the evades that trap
by the way,
ranger
I
would
used
have.
to play Ellie for quite long.
Yeah.
Okay. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
To where Zeus is really comfortable with Scepter. I'm really comfortable with Dagger. So if I was playing Scepter on him, and I'm gonna practice a little bit more, then I'd be totally okay with it. But I used to play Staff a lot prior, and then I tried Scepter. I didn't really like Scepter too much. I felt like it was slower paced, and I didn't like it as much, which is funny because I enjoyed Staff. But as soon as I went to Dagger, like I fell in love, and like Skovex would like kind of teach me certain things, and then I kind of just started playing it too much from there, and then so still have elements, so there are still hard counters. Eventually, I'm gonna become more balanced. Yes, I do believe it will become more balanced, but I do think that a team that is coming into a tourney, like this is what doesn't make sense to me. With the character swapping, like what you're saying, bring your friends, I absolutely agree. Bear in mind though, like being that you can still swap traits and utilities before, you can essentially still counter someone if you're swapping and you know the right builds, know the right counters to people. I do agree that they should lock it. I would literally just change my traits and my utilities within that. I just make another character just to go ahead and swap and be lazy. But
no, but like let's think about this way. Like we know like monthly tournaments are coming up, and maybe something after that.
Yep.
And let's say you have to use one comp for one fucking big ass tournament, and like what can you do against like guys that like run counter to your comp? Like nothing.
Yep. No, I agree.
Like nothing. Yeah.
I agree.
Like if you can't sense, you're fucked. Like you're gonna lose. Like if they're like if they're like at the same level as your team and they get the advantage by the comp, like fuck you can do after that, like nothing.
Yep.
You're gonna lose.
I absolutely agree, and I think it should be like LOL in the instance of like you're sitting there in their lobby and looking at exactly what those people are picking. And then you should be able to pick in those monthly, yearly tournaments exactly what it is that you want to run against what the other team is running. You have that 2 minutes, you can make that call. Once that 2 minutes starts, you can't swap no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, for example, say I know Zeus's team is going to be my hardest competition. I will fucking always know that. They're extremely skilled players. They know multiple classes, everything. If they come in there saying, hey, we know this is the hardest counter, say Vayne's team is going to give us the hardest competition. Let's run this hard counter to him and play alternate. He can rape the easier teams and then come against us and rape us just because it's a counter comp.
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense.
I totally agree with that.
That doesn't make sense. So. But,
and you guys need to take that up in the talk. So
I definitely agree, and I definitely I know ArenaNet. They're a bunch of down to earth guys. They play these games. I know they're probably thinking about that. Like, dude, we can't.
Need to make sure that they fucking think about it. Like,
what is the best way to counter that?
We don't know how they even fucking think about it. Like,
yeah. Against it, so your skills are locked in. That way you can pick your utilities based off the other team, based off works best overall. I don't necessarily agree with that. Bring your friends. Just because simply what we're talking about right now. I do think that traits and utilities and weapons, they should still all be unlocked prior to the game starting. Just for that instance, let's say they even lock me into playing Ellie all tourney. If I put enough effort into knowing what I need to do to counter this guy or to be able to withstand that guy that's trying to run a counter to me, then I personally think that player should be rewarded for the benefits of that. You know what I mean? I don't think I should have to sit there and they're running a counter comp to me. I should have to switch class completely. I love Ellie. You know what I mean? I should be able to play Ellie like I want, and I'm putting forth the effort. Like me and Zeus talking right now. I'm telling Zeus what kind of works for me on Treb, and he's telling me, hey, dude, I think that works, but I really think this works better. You know what I mean? I'm going to take that and adopt that, and I think that should be allowed.
Yeah. Also, your friends doing that, you would promote more. You would get more cheesy comps because you can't see what it is. Like you might run into a very, very cheesy comp, like maybe double Necro and NG or something like that. That just so happens to counter like my team or Vane's team or something like that, or Purie's team. And then you're locked into that, and you don't know how to fight against it because it's something that people don't usually do, but it's something that's very cheesy that beats one specific thing.
Yeah, it has like cheesy opening or something like that.
Yeah, like kind of with what Gohambro said, that even might make sense because say, hey, I know Vane's about to pick Ellie. He picked Ellie at the start. Let me run Trap Ranger. I'm going to be on Tread all day. Well, shit. Now my warrior can go ahead and pick something else. He can go pick fucking Trap Ranger himself and fuck their Ellie all game. You know what I mean? Like it's just something that might make sense. They need to throw out a strategy, something that would make it a fair advantage for both teams and not give it an unfair advantage just because one team is trying to be a douchebag and run some cheesy build and comp.
Yeah, I agree. Biggest thing is that switching classes.
Yeah. One good example is actually when we used to play the AIDS cleave, like Epidemic, Necro, Engineer, blah blah blah. We met these guys. I think it was actually Fantaram playing Ellie, but never mind that. They actually played 5 DPS, and we got fucking stomped. They had 2 fucking Ellies, 2 Mesmers, and was it Thief or something? Oh well, anyway, like we couldn't do fucking shit. Like they were just like portaling all over the place. Like we couldn't defend anything. They had like 5 people all over the place. Engineer Necro, man, like it takes so fucking long to get from A to B. Like if you know what I mean. Yeah. Like two right lightnings, 2 portals, Thief, like just out mobility the like whole game. Like that's a bit tough.
Yeah.
Like if you do that in like major tournament, like just do like something like out of the ordinary like 5 DPS, and it like if you know how to play it, like you can hard counter stuff with that.
Yeah, no, I've definitely thought about that before too. How 5 DPS could be super strong.
It's about the mobility though, and picking the right fight. But you can do that with 2 Ellies, 2 portals, Thief, and with Thief.
Yeah.
You don't want to take the team fight. You just take the. Or actually, you can take the team fight, but you don't want to take the Guardian team fight.
Yeah.
Or you want to hit the point before like they have a whole team there. Like you get the advantage by opening on one guy, and having them like reinforcing it, defending
it. Zeus deleted me off his friends list before. Said, "Fuck,
I'm a scumbag." Sorry,
man. Yeah, I guess it requires a little bit more communication with. And I do think that they are pretty strong with their communication. I find it actually very funny. Like some of the devs are really straightforward in the forums, and they're just like, "Dude, shut up," type deal. But in nicer words, but they're pretty nice. Like I actually I was in the forums. I made my first post in the forum last night, and I saw this post. It was a pretty intelligent post. So I was assuming it was like an older guy, 25 plus, and he was playing Ellie. Might be Bit, the Ellie that streams Dagger World v World play, and essentially what he was saying was kind of what Purie said when he first came in, about burst being so strong and unavoidable. And I went through every class, and I told him that pretty much every class's burst is almost unavoidable, with the exception of Thieves. But you can play differently against Thieves, by being defensive or stacking on top of a teammate. Just little shit that you can do to help you survive. And I gave him in-depth prime examples, and he's still like, no, it's just I think the burst should be built up and all this stuff. I was like, dude, Mesmers, they have to build their burst. Like they have to essentially know that they can get that shatter off on you, that root, that immobilize, or play right next to you and get that shatter. Otherwise, they're going to be in a hole right now. You know what I mean? To where, depending on who they're fighting.
Oh. What do you think about haste?
God. I think haste changes the game too much.
Yeah.
Personally, I think time warp should be removed. Because a lot of times team fights will come down to which Mesmer popped haste first, or it'll come if one has haste on cooldown and which one doesn't. I fought so many games where
you just win it with fucking quickness,
Yeah, I've fought so many games where the Mesmer on their team pop quickness first. We're like, fuck, okay, they got us in a hole. Let's save it. Let's make a push. Now we win with ours, and then we're going back to back. I personally believe that ports for Mesmers.
I'm not actually talking about time warp. I'm just talking about
haste
in general.
Yeah, just haste like overall, like on
I think
weapons, on utilities.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think haste should be there.
Yeah.
I think there's too much benefit from it.
I wouldn't
But
say it shouldn't be there.
if you remove those, like oh my god, like what the fuck you can do with Thief anymore? Nothing. What can you do with Warrior after that?
Yeah,
Nothing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
feel like it's too quick, and there's no drawback for it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it needs to be a drawback, like how
Thief
Warrior
Thief
Frenzy.
can evade after that, and
Yeah, something like
more
that.
damage.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
Frenzy.
like Warrior more damage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
By far. Like we'll say, oh shit, the Warrior pop Frenzy, nuke him. You know what I mean? Like it's something as simple as that. There needs to be a drawback as well. I think the Warrior has the best mechanism for it. They can prosper greatly if they pop it, but if they don't pop it right, then they're fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree.
But yeah, dude, I definitely agree that. Oh, personally, I might not be agreed with on this topic, but ports for Mesmers, I believe that they should remain the same cooldown, remain the same distance, but one person only can come through that port, and that is the Mesmer himself. And I do not think that multiple people should be able to come through a port. I feel like that kind of breaks stuff in general. Like a lot of teams that will just port like 4 people back if someone's trying to push an off node or something like that. They need to change the port mechanism, or they should give other classes something like a port mechanism. That way you have more versatility. You can run different comps. Say they give.
No, I think they should make something like give some classes something to defend the close point. Like I'm just saying, like have something else than a fucking Mesmer, basically.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Like you have Shadow Trap with Thief, but oh man, like doesn't work. Like I don't know, have you guys tried that one?
A what?
Shadow Trap.
Oh yeah, we have tried it.
Yeah.
I tried it back in the day. I just wasn't a fan. Like
Go on,
the
guys.
Necro Wormport. How you doing?
Yep.
It just doesn't work. It
Yeah.
doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing works as efficiently as a Mesmer. And I think giving other classes something like extremely related to the Necro Resig, giving them certain benefits that they can benefit from, like the Necro Resig. The Necro Resig is just so strong that almost not running a Necro kind of puts you in a pit. The Mesmer port, I believe, if they gave other classes essentially the same thing, they could run something else on off node. Say they gave some like NG, they called it Wormhole, and they could place it on their home node, and then they could run an NG on the home node. Like it makes sense. Like more classes, more diversity. You wouldn't see. It kind of something different. It shouldn't be that Mesmer's.
That's the basically the whole idea why you have the Mesmer portal and quickness.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, I kind of agree with your portal in general. That way, pretty much, even though I'm a Mesmer, so that sounds kind of crazy, but it seems like that way, if only one person, the person that uses portal, it seems that he's more responsible for containing his node than relying on his entire team to come and back him up instantly through the utility.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with what you're saying about team synergy. I do believe that is a mandatory. I talked about it with someone before.
Agree as well.
That if you don't have team synergy, and if you go into a new game and you play some like these top teams that have that synergy, have been playing against each other for a long time, you go in there, you get slapped around. Blink's Ellie, or Blink's PvP, I believe that is Blink's Ellie. He actually is in here right now. He messaged me the other day and said, "Hey, look, do you guys ever lose, blah, blah, blah?" And I'm like, yes, we do lose, and all the time. And I told him what it is, and not like, I'm not trying to be like a dickhead or anything like that. Like, we lose all the time. Like, we do lose. I'm not saying, like, it's a consistent thing, but it's more the reason why we kind of prosper from it is because we do have that team synergy to where we do want to cooperate with each other and see what we did wrong. Sometimes we just bitch at each other. But if the team doesn't have the synergy, and they know that, or they just don't want to work on that, then they're also not going to have the motivation and the morale to keep forward. So you get a brand new team that they're all stoked and gung-ho at first, and they go into these tourneys, and they get slapped around 14 times in a row, don't want to buy any more tickets, nothing to benefit from this, and they break up. Which is a lot of these other top teams are literally breaking up because they keep losing and they don't have the
Yeah,
motivation to
sometimes they
keep pushing.
They face the best teams first round, so there's really no motivation to keep playing for those teams.
Right.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Because free tourneys provides like no practice. Like you see people just queuing up for free tourneys just because they want to get away from the 8-man Zerg, and then you have those other teams that are just casually practicing here and there, and then you also have, and then you go from free to paid, and it's just like a whole nother world.
Right.
Like if you
the gap differential is too big. It needs to be
very too big.
It needs to be a ladder.
Yeah.
It needs to step up.
But one of the
but I don't know, like, is the player base big enough for the ladder?
That's another issue that rises. I mean, like, so if they release
Because
the ladders, they need to give you something that is sought after. Because I'll tell you, giving me QPs and giving me gems, like the gem store is booty as it is. Like there's nothing in the gem store that I want except for tourney tickets and some gold every once in a while.
I mean, I have 174,000 glory, and I haven't spent any of it yet.
Exactly.
I have no
glory for no reason.
Like I saw glory or whatever at the Sears set. I was just like, for me, I was like, this looks badass as it is. I'm just gonna save it until I get something better. But it's just like visually, it's just like sometimes you just want to stick with something you got, and you have no incentive to do anything else with the bullshit points that you get. So it's just like, what do you do now?
So I definitely agree, and I think I just someone needs to make something that is just the reward system, kind of like World of Warcraft. I do believe that their arenas were so strong that they had the rewards that everyone wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I don't personally believe they should give you mounts in this game. Titles, new gear.
Oh my god.
New fucking gear that no one has.
Fuck yeah, man.
Dude,
titles.
Titles, Give me something that says, hey bitch, I play Ellie and I'm known for Ellie. Like, I focus on this class. Give me something more than Champion Ellie or whatever the fuck it is. Like, that is so
Master Elementalist.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? But, I mean, I'm going to tell you, like, I'm totally telling on myself, but I used my glory for the first time in like 3 weeks to try to get the bear token. Like, that is, I spent 100,000 glory trying to get the bear token, didn't get it, and I was like, fuck this. So,
Oh my god.
But the reason why I said about the question I was asking you earlier with sticking with the same class, because otherwise, as of the way it is right now, it almost feels like you're playing like an eBay auction. Because like you go in with like one team and they're like, oh well, these guys have this team, so let's switch to another team, and they're like, oh well, these guys have 2 bunkers now, so let's get 2 condition-based people to counter those 2 bunkers. So it's almost like who gets like the last comp that's going to beat their comp right before your crap gets locked in is like the team that's going to come out on top. And there should be a way like around that. I'm not saying that my suggestion was like the best. Right, exactly. And like, I don't know if my suggestion was like, nowhere near the best solution, but there has to be some type of way that you can actually have, stick with like the team that you got and possibly base it around like your class in general, like make more viable specs or make this and that to make it actually to where you would want to stick with the class that you're playing. Because me personally, like, I love playing the Mesmer or whatever, and I don't really feel that it's necessary, even though I know how to play an Ellie pretty well and I know how to dodge a lot on the Unicorn Thief, great. But, I mean, I want to play on one class, and I think, you should be rewarded for doing that just as much as knowing all the classes if you want to play that way.
Right.
I have, like, right now, like, the way the entire system is working, it's more based off of how much honor the other teams have. And it sounds ridiculous, but, like, if you're losing over and over and over again. You want to change something. You want to identify why you're losing. When we first started, kind of as a team, we got beat every single time by like a good team and above. I mean, we're like, what the fuck are we doing wrong? So what we did was not necessarily change too much of our specs, not too much of our comp. We actually kept the same comp, but we worked strats around it. You know what I mean? Like we worked around how. Exactly. You need to beat them. How we need to train targets.
That's what BD does well. Yeah. That's what BD does well. Yeah.
Blinks and his team. They have Blinks. They have Sunny. They have Kruk. All of them. All strong players. All great synergy. All good guys. And they're keeping the same comp. And they keep trying and they keep trying. And eventually, they're going to throw this strat at us. And they're going to throw this team fight mechanisms and all this shit at us with the same comp. That's going to fucking shock us. We're like, what the fuck did you just do? For example, like we fear mid fights. It's what we feared at the beginning when we first made this comp because oh shit, we got a warrior and a dagger Ellie. What the fuck are we gonna do? You know what I mean? We were just totally anti mid. Sin came in. It's a brand new up and coming guild, just like Love. They came in same comp as us. The only difference is the Necro is running well play and ours is running dagger. They fight mid fights and they have such strong team fight mechanics that they were just absolutely raping. Like, so I had to go back to my team and be like, dude, we can run different strats. This team right here can do it. We can do it too. You know what I mean? We can go run mid. We can go fight that. And they don't go and change comp just because, you know, one team is running something that might be a little bit stronger than theirs. They figure out what they need to do and how they need to do it to beat that team, which I absolutely agree with. And those are the teams that I respect.
Teams should be doing that all the time, yeah.
But it's like little stuff. Like, for example, their warrior. He has to change because we do so much damage.
You guys need to understand, like, there's always, like, this class beats this class. Like,
no, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that really promotes balance in the game.
That happens 5 times to your classes, man.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Like, we used to run this strat, and I got this from Zeph, and this is the first strat that we bought. Kind of like what kind of gave Cute, like, the push that we needed to kind of, like, get ourselves out there.
Nice.
Zeph gave us that strat, and it was a 2-1-2 split. We tried to push skill-based team fights all around the map, and consecutively keep even numbers there. And, for example, if I know a Trap Ranger counters me, but then I also have my Mesmer with me, so I don't feel that impact as much. You know what I mean? He may be sitting there countering me all day. Okay, that's fine. Let me get some fucking shatter off on him, you know, that puts mad damage on him. That's okay with me. You know, I understand that 1v1s, that's not what this game is built around, but if you go 2v2s, 3v3s, 4v4s, I mean, that kind of changes everything. If he counters me directly, that's fine. But I have my friend here that's right next to me that is shattering you, that is putting condies on you, whatever it may be, and that may, you know, that works, that, you know, neutralizes that aspect. And then it can become a skill-based team fight all around the node. Eventually, some people, I'm not going to say their names, tried to make a direct counter comp, and they did, and they were successful. And they totally shit on us for like 2 weeks straight, and they're complete assholes. They had 5 people that countered us hard, and then we had to work ourselves around that. Never changed comp. We stayed with the same comp, just had to run different
That's very
strats.
Respectable, man.
Yeah,
that's
that's what like a lot of
that's
these
what
teams
we're
are
doing as well. Yes, it's. I think that's the future once they implement something like round robin picking or something like that.
Yep.
Something as simple as okay, you pick, okay, then next team picks, and it doesn't take that long. But I feel like that's a very good way to go about it because you know the 2 minutes in between before a game starts. Everybody's waiting those 2 minutes nowadays. Nobody just like readies up and like we're ready to go. Like you can use that 2 minutes. Exactly. You can use that 2 minutes.
It's waste of time.
Yeah.
What about if you did this? When you went into an opening game, you can't change. All right, let's say we take what fucking Bring Your Friends is saying right here. He's saying you can't switch utilities, traits, nothing, right at the beginning of the game.
Right.
But what if they did this? This is just kind of popped in my head, so it's kind of crazy. What if you could look at whatever that person is running? So, like, say they have a ranger. What if he is a trap ranger? You can look at every utility, what his gear, what's on his gear, you know, what his spec is, all that stuff like that.
And then base your strategy on the flyer based around that spec.
Not just that, but you could only switch characters, and you can't change utilities. So, I have a pre-made character that helps me ready for that. Right? So you can see that. So the trap ranger's like, oh shit, son, this guy's running something that counters me. Why don't I run something that's more balanced to that? You know what I mean? Like, you would be able to, I don't know, I think you should be able to look at people's specs, look at people's talents and utilities. And
I don't know, that sounds like fucking dumb. Like,
it sounds fucking crazy.
I think it still boils down to the whole eBay thing because people will be swapping out constantly to each other.
Gonna happen, there's gonna be one guardian on each team waiting for the games to start. People come before
big
class.
Well, what if you could actually look at people's specs at the beginning of the game? Would that make a difference?
Actually,
yes, it would make a tremendous difference.
If they had your idea, I honestly think that people would have a character that served no purpose. You would go in there naked with no strats, no spec, and just flat out default utilities and elite. Yeah, just
shields,
the most retarded ass thing you can honestly think of. And then like these guys are retarded. We don't need to do anything. And then they would just switch back to their normal class right before the locks. lock someone into place, and then play the game.
All right.
Right.
What about this? You can look at their specs. Can't change class. And you can't change utilities, all that stuff like that. And you can't run more than one of the same class.
I would probably agree to that, just because of the fact that, like,
why do you need to look at their spec? Like,
well, that way you know if they're running an extreme counter to you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
you could
like,
base a different strat.
but
I agree.
But then that becomes Build
I
Wars.
agree.
That becomes Build
I
Wars
agree
at
to the
that
fact
point.
that I think it does make for better team play, just because you're trying to make a plan at the last minute to kind of foil them. But at the same time, I do think it is kind of cheesy. But I mean, it still makes you think last minute, though.
Yeah,
Something
hey,
you're
Wayne,
not really
Wayne,
prepared
Wayne,
for,
Wayne,
unless
like,
it's a team that you
what's the
face before
point?
over and over, and you already know.
What's the point of knowing their? Okay, for example, I know that their Necro is running Wells. I know that their Trap Ranger is running, fucking what's it
Yeah,
called?
but you can't
Traps.
change anything, so.
No, yes, you're exactly right. But you can change strat. So
can
we
change
go,
your strat.
we go from
yeah.
attacking mid because they have such strong mid team fight potential. We go to attacking their side node. You know what I mean? Simply something as little as that. I'll be like, hey, I know the Trap Ranger is going to be firing mid. We'll go fake it to mid, and we'll go right to their side node. We'll go gung-ho all the way over there. We don't even go fuck with the Trap Ranger on Treb. We just dodge the Trebs. We play off node, kill him, take node, dodge, right? Then we go, like, two-man rush him on Treb and kill him. But we can change strat. We know that they are trying to counter us now and be douchebags. And now we've got almost not necessarily an even playing field, but we have a better and I guess a higher advantage now than we did before. And
Because
I think
go ahead.
You do know their utilities, you do know their traits.
Yeah.
So I don't know, there may be flaws in it, but if they were to do that, then that would mean you can't change your own traits, you can't change your own utilities, and you can't.
Do you actually like the chains, like you can't change weapons, utilities, blah blah blah? Do you actually like the chains?
I don't personally like it because
Yeah,
I
me
feel
neither.
like it does promote comp worse, but you
No,
know.
it actually promotes player skill.
It does do that, but at the same time, it also promotes comp wars, in my opinion. They know now that fucking I'm on Dagger Ellie, and like I can't go at him on Treb. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could change before map, like the map actually starts, and switch the staff real quick. But it's it kind of it frustrates me a little bit. Like I love my arcane utilities. I don't like to change them up. Personally, I probably should a little bit more. Like if I know I'm going to be assaulting off node more, I should probably change the port cantrip. But that would also take its toll on my build. You know what I mean? So it's different.
I think your idea has good things and bad things. The good thing is it promotes your team to just pretty much think outside of the box based off their spec. But on the other hand, I think that
Build Wars.
You should be able to figure it out on your own, regardless of that, and still make up strategies because of that. I think, in some players' defenses, if they built it and put the time into building their own spec and sigils and all that, it should be theirs. And if the only reason they should share it with somebody else is if they do it willingly, because there are some people out there that are like, guard their spec as close as they do their social security number. So
right, exactly.
Giving it out freely, some people would just be in an uproar about. So
it
would probably have a lot of
a
huge debate.
It would,
if
but
you put that out as an idea.
It'd promote a higher, not necessarily a higher skill base, but it would promote more.
Just
of
a different type of play.
Field.
Yeah, very much different type of play.
I do agree with what Hambro said. I feel like them locking utilities kind of means that fucking. Like, even if they kept locking traits, locking weapon sets, I feel like them locking utilities really fucks it up because, now I know I'm running to a Mesmer's off node, and I can't switch to port cantrip, if I have misform down, there's my last line of defense. I gotta play extremely defensive or have a different tactic, so...
By the way, you need to think that from, different aspect, some classes don't have that many utilities to speed, so some classes get advantage by doing so.
I also agree that, I think... by locking that, fucking poor Necros, man. They took a huge fucking toll on that. If a Guardian is running hammer instead of staff, those poor guys too. It's just consistent slow running the entire time. And
I think that falls on the developers, to be quite honest. They should be able to put in something for everyone when it comes to mobility. I think that was the main issue why they locked the weapons in place to begin with, because players were, I think, taking advantage of that too much to be like, oh, well, I'm going to spec my character on super low mobility just because of the fact that I can I'm not going to say exploit, but take advantage of. I'm
Dancing
going to
weapons.
swap weapons out of combat, get the mobility, and then swap back to my weapon while I'm on the way to the node.
Dude.
I don't think the developers really meant for it, and I think they really found that out really late in the game, to be quite honest, which is the reason they took it out like out of the middle of nowhere. So I think that's the reason for the timing.
I agree. Like I was a huge abuser of switching the staff while I was like, dude, I was so
Everybody
was
was.
too.
Everyone who
course.
played
Yeah.
top teams.
Any Ellie could be a
Most of the-
prime
Most of
fucking
the time,
example.
they use it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it'd be like the more experienced players, the more seasoned
Mhm.
guys that would do it. Hold on, let me answer a question real quick. Jar Keeson asked, "What Q Hugh's well build?" Essentially, the well build is meant for AOE damage, AOE Condi damage. He was essentially a glass cannon power hybrid between power and condition. He could drop those wells and actually devastate a node. Say if another player on the enemy team went down, you could drop those wells on that person's body and prevent an entire team from rezzing. They'd have to burn a res save or use it just because standing in wells fucks you so hard. It is extremely powerful, and that build, so you know, is not recommended to run in hot joins. You need a team protecting you when you do it. If you do run it in hot joins and you're a new player with it, just know that you need to position yourself kind of in the back of your Zerg. Don't ever run directly in the mid. Don't try to tank a point. Your Plague Form is almost like your last resort. If you do use Plague Form, make sure you use it early. Don't use it at 10%, otherwise people are still going to focus you. Use it at like 75% and you see the damage coming, and that's when you actually go ahead and use your Plague Form and spam blind.
No, if you see a thief, just press Plague Form.
Yeah. Darkies, talk about my build. Oh, yes. My build is essentially, it's more damage focused. It allows me to control other players just with the weapon set alone. The weapon set alone allows you to control players, lock them down. So essentially the way I use my build in team fights is I heal for my Necro. My Necro is extremely powerful. He's a skilled player, but he does need people peeling off of him. He doesn't have a lot of defensives, and with the way the res signet is working right now, almost every Necro in the game runs it, and you need to. It now focuses on not letting him to use another defensive utility, so it's my job to peel off of him. That is almost my main job, but I can also do a lot of damage with my arcane utilities. The reason why I do use Elemental Surge is not just for the extra damage, the extra burning. If I'm getting trained or a friendly player is getting trained, I can use that to mobilize another character. If a warrior's on me, his biggest fear is chill, and they will throw their face into the keyboard if they get chilled. So I consistently chill warriors, chill thieves. If I'm ever chasing someone, that's what I'll do. You can switch to air attunement while you're stomping someone. You can actually cast arcane utility, and you can blind them. So it works really well across the spectrum. You can play it using it offensively or defensively. And that's what I do with my build. You can switch.
That's really for you.
Yeah, you can switch a lot of it up.
Pretty much. I love it.
What kind of really sucks about Ellie, and I'll tell you, a lot of my frustration is I do believe that having to go 30 Arcana is almost a must, because you need those faster attunement swaps. And I feel like if you don't go into 30 Arcana, you're gimping yourself. And with the huge nerf to evasive arcana, a lot of people don't use the arcane utilities. They use more cantrips, so they're forced to go evasive arcana, which I do believe other Ellies would go differently. But Ellie is already squishy as it is. If you go 30 air and 30 fire, you do so much damage. It's crazy, but God forbid you get a thief on you. You will literally die in almost one shot, and it sucks, and it's not fun. It is fun to do that initial burst damage, but actually going that build really fucking blows. You need some sustainability, and a lot of what's in the water trees and arcana trees forces you to go that route. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. There are other Ellies that play differently. I play more aggressive with my Dagger Ellie. Skovex, you may have heard of him. He plays more of a supportish type role, more sustain in his build than mine, and I don't currently have his build, but he does change stuff like in the water tree. He does change it to, instead of doing 10% more damage when you're above 90%, I believe it is. He changes that to a 20% reduced cooldown on the water skills. I know Zeus plays a completely different spec. He also plays Scepter Dagger now, right?
Yeah.
Do you know
hey.
link to your build?
I actually got an idea. Like, what?
Yeah, I
if
think that's
Necros can
too
go like full class cannon, like power condition.
Mhm.
Why can't Ellie go like full fucking class? Like same thing, man. Like
Yeah, no shit. Man. Dude,
Staff Ellie, man. Yeah, Staff Ellie
my
full
God.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree, but you'd also have to have a control character peeling for him. You know what I mean? And finding control players, that's
but
rare.
You just like replaced Necro with fucking Staff Ele.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
full class Staff Ele.
What really pisses me off about Staff is Meteor Shower could do so much flipping damage, but you could cast it on someone and they'll get hit like twice with Meteor Shower. It freaking blows. The actual impact of it itself sucks.
It's very inconsistent too.
Yeah.
So
and actually,
that's a big issue.
You kind of have like on point damage, like what Necro is, like basically.
Same thing, man. A lot of their stuff is AoE cast. Oh, it's too easy to either dodge roll out of it or sidestep it. And
no. Like my point was like you just basically like boost the damage on the point, like the same way as Necro plays, like Necro. Like you just smash the damage on the point, like and AoE people.
Yeah.
So
I definitely agree. And I wasn't saying that you do need 30 air, 30 fire to do crazy damage. Like in this almost supportive role that I'm playing right now, I can do crazy bursts, and depending on the class, if it's a full glass like thief or something like that, I can almost one shot him if he eats all this shit and he doesn't have shadow step and all that stuff like that. So that's not what I'm saying, but what I am saying that is a lot of LE builds force you to go either 30 water, 30 arcana, and I do believe almost 30 arcana is almost a must. Like having those long attunements is killer sometimes, especially when you rely a lot on the cooldowns that you get between each of the
if you don't
swaps.
do it like I mean like if you don't do it like when you go like fire, water, air, earth, like when you wanna go from earth to fire, it's gonna be a cooldown.
Yep.
So you're gonna be wasting time doing nothing.
You're gonna stand there like an idiot, like, oh my god, I can't cast any spells. Why am I an elementalist?
What I do believe though is a lot of classes, like okay, I'll give you Ellie for instance because that's the most experience I have on a class. LE, a lot of their stuff has to be comboed. If you do one skill solely, you're not going to do the damage. If you do chain your stuff together, that's where the damage will come from. And I do believe more classes should have that opportunity to have a higher, I guess, skill cap when it comes to that. When you do play other classes, kind of like a backstab thief, it's pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? You learn exactly what the give is like, and you do it. And you do all that damage.
Hit the button, you do damage.
I think the reason why NG is super underplayed right now is not only because I feel like they're kind of weak, but because a lot of their stuff is skill shots. To where you do not have skill shots with these other classes.
There
is
no guaranteed.
There is no skill shot with 100 blades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to fucking go in there and possibly eat damage, but you just press one button and all that shit, it just pops off. You know what I mean? I do agree that a lot more people should have to combo into their skills. And with that, I don't know. It'd be hard to change.
That's something I don't get. Like, why some stuff has to be like skill shots?
Yeah.
If you don't actually benefit from doing that, like, what's
like
the
it
point?
doesn't get more damage or something.
Yeah, like let's say your one skill is fucking skill shot, like nades, for example. Like, oh my god, like compare that to like Thief one, Necro one. Like, the fuck.
Someone made a point to me, or made a point on the forums, and I kind of laughed at this. If they made Heartseeker, oh my god, exactly what Bulletproof said right now. If they made Heartseeker a skill shot, like it was manually aimed, oh dude, like multiple thieves would be just Heartseekering off in the distance. Like you would just see them failing so hard with Heartseeker. I just kind of laughed at that. But if a lot of shit was like that, like what Bulletproof said, burning speed. It's manually aimed, and sometimes I still find myself burning speeding right into a wall when I don't mean to. Like, But yeah, I do think they should do that with a lot of classes. I think.
Yeah. You're talking about ground targeting?
No, not
skill
just
shots,
skill shots.
Like missing skills, like
being
able to miss skills.
What about with Heartseeker instead? Because everyone complains about Heartseeker because the amount of what you get for the button you press. Because even if the person is behind you, not only do you turn around, automatically leap to them, close a gap, and do damage. I think. Do you think that ground targeting would possibly fix that? Just because it would be like casting a teleport. So say if you were to cast Heartseeker as you were, any type of ground targeting spell.
I think making
that
it a
would
skill
bounce
shot
it out?
Alone, manually aimed.
No, if it
would be really rough.
I don't think
that's
fucking
the
cleave
answer,
in
though.
that case. It would be cleave in that case and would be totally OP.
Well, the reason why Heartseeker is so strong right now, it's a gap closure that won't close gaps if it doesn't need it. It automatically hits, 100% of the time if you're within range. It will not miss. Like you will just go right to your target. It does, I think, more damage when the target is lower. I do believe, right?
It does.
And it costs such low initiative. But what I personally believe, if they gave it the mechanic of burning speed, to where you were the Heartseeker, and if you didn't have enough distance, like, everyone knows that plays Ellie. If you want a burning speed, like one dodge roll back will put you into that range. But good players you're fighting will close that gap if you go into fire. You know what I mean? You might get some burning from it, but they'll close the gap. I know if some dude is Heartseekering me, well, fuck, there's not much I can do but pop defensives. If they use Heartseeker as a gap closer or as a burning speed where they got to dodge roll back or something like that, they can't use that as a finisher no more or just spam it. You know what I mean?
I think there's too much in one skill, like movement,
I agree.
Movement, cap closer. Like you don't need to do anything. Like you just spam it.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
You can close your eyes and spam it too, man.
Yep.
I don't think Heartseeker is the big problem though, but
no. But like, just for example, for like skill not being skill, so like
right.
But placing speed.
Yeah, just purely the debate of what you get for the button you push.
Exactly. Yeah. That's like what a lot of people feel about the AoE damage. Like personally, I hate well necros. I got nothing against you, Purie. I know you're running it right now. I hate it.
No, I have to necros.
How dare you?
I hate it because it's so devastating to a team, and I feel that it doesn't take a lot of skill to literally what you see necros doing these days. Are going.
So you're saying Purie is a bad player?
No. No. Don't twist these.
No. Like I can tell you, like sometimes I can like, it's not that crazy to play. Like you can basically like AFK 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, like I feel like
the mentality to play necro, like that's pretty lame.
Yeah, I feel like Wells when they are cast, like right now with the way necros in NA are doing is they go into team fights and their job is only to survive. They are getting trained and they are fighting and their team has to protect them, right?
Yeah.
And then they only cast Wells. Okay, yeah. So they only cast Wells when they have the opportunity or they have the opportunity to free cast. A team that's not focusing in Necro is boning themselves in the first place, right? Especially with the way that the Necros are now. So Necros have to survive, and that's where the intelligent part of good Necros are coming from. But the positioning, where they're placing themselves, and how well their team protects them. You know, and that's why I can't stand it. All they have to do is survive and then cast Wells and then do some like random spam.
I get. Yeah.
Also, one thing I wanted to bring up for a while too, I actually posted on the forum about it, was regarding to stealth. Like, say if you were casting a channeled spell onto somebody, and say if you're in the middle of that channel, and I'll even ask you guys the question. So, say if you're in the middle of a channel and somebody hits stealth, do you think that stealth should still hit the guy, or do you think it would miss after they went into invisibility?
It still hits them.
Yes,
still hits them.
It needs to hit them.
Needs to hit them.
Yeah,
it hits them.
A lot of times it still hits the thief, like kill shot on warrior and stuff like that.
You won't see the damage, but
it's still hitting them.
It's still hitting them.
Oh no, I know it's still hitting them, but I'm saying.
Oh, should it or should it not?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I think it should honestly depend on distance and the type of spell that you're using. So, say for example, if you know what Scepter 3 is on Mesmer, it's just like a thing that channel at distance puts confusion on a target. I think if they're at distance and you go in invisibility, I don't think that you should be able to hit them at that far of a distance, just because of the simple fact that you can't really see them and the distance you are between the target. I think the higher the distance, probably the higher probability that you should have to miss said target. I think that if they're closer, then maybe have some mechanic, be like, oh, well, if they're that close to me, then you're hitting them anyways. Kind of same example when a thief is in melee range and he's invisible. Of course, if you just swing your sword in midair, then more than likely you're going to hit a thief. I think it should be almost the opposite, depending on how far away you are from the target. I think that would probably raise a lot of debate whether or not that would be a good or a bad thing.
I think stealth is too strong as it is, personally. I think there's some builds that are based only around stealth, and I know there's probably a thief in here, but correct me if I'm wrong, there's like a trait or something that allows the thief to regen health, like something like 10% health or a certain
while
percent
in stealth.
That is retarded.
Because
they are building, I can't tell you how many times I've gone against like a pistol dagger thief or pistol whip thief or something like that. Like Kruk, prime example, great player. He knows that stealth is strong, using stealth, and I can't tell you how hard it is to kill that fucker. Like 1v1, he goes in and out of stealth like 40 fucking times, and if he wants to get out, he can get out. But like pistol dagger thieves, so much condition damage off of it. 1v1, they're extremely hard to kill, and all they do is like, oh shit, you're getting close. Let me dagger 5 your ass real quick. go back into stealth, regen a bunch of health, come back out, and I'm full health again.
Right, it's just all about the life
Yeah.
leech and life regen for that type of spec.
I think thieves are something to be looked at. I think it is. It's too easy to be extremely successful with a thief. I feel like a lot of thieves have to make the right calls. Like to where I base the skill off of thief is the call he makes within the team fight of when he should come down and gib, when he needs to be shadow refuging on a teammate to stealth or get the res off or whatever it is. To where when he's pushing far node, how effective he is at it. All those types of things. I mean, that's where I feel like the skill is based off of thief.
I'm just thinking, like, should they actually allow like one guy to be able to one-shot someone?
I do not agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah.
So if that were the case, you would need to raise the overall health and toughness of a thief and lower the overall damage. Some thieves would fucking cry. But
I agree.
absolutely
It turned
bitch and
into an
moan.
esport. Nobody would want to watch that. I mean, it's not fun to watch. I mean, you see people going on Twitch and just people literally getting glass cannon killing other glass cannons in literally half a second. Like that is not going to succeed long run.
No,
regardless of the way you look at it.
Yep. No one wants to see someone getting one shot. Like I know you will consider me a bad player if every time I go against a 100 blades warrior, I'm eating 100 blades, a full 100 frenzy 100 blades. You know what I mean? Like you don't. It's too easy to avoid. You can do anything.
Right.
If you're
you
running,
see the signs coming from a mile away.
I think thieves should be telegraphed like that. I think you should be able to mitigate that damage, avoid it. I know Mesmer is going to like either fucking stun me or root me. I now know that I need to dodge ASAP. Exactly. If I don't do that dodge, I know that I'm probably going to get hit with a mine rack. And if I get hit with mine rack, I'd rather be hit with a mine rack that is just overall AoE and just trying to get some damage out than one that is so focused that I get one shot by it. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Like, think about it. If steel would be like slower, like you could evade it, like you could see it coming.
Yeah, something
that would make a world of difference because there's no reaction time for a steel.
No, there's
almost
you can't do anything.
It is instant. It's an instant teleport gap closer to your face. I mean, how can you telegraph that? It's almost impossible.
I mean, it could be fair, like if you can see it coming.
Especially if they're in stealth beforehand, because
I mean, like
stealth rendering is already fucked up as it is. So I mean, that combined with steel is just, you might as well just run away.
I agree that thieves need stealth, like as of right now.
Yeah.
But I do believe they need to lower the damage, and I've actually heard this before from someone that this is about to lead into another topic that kind of pisses me off. But I have heard before that they're trying to overall lower the damage just a tad and raise the overall health and toughness of every class so that burst doesn't mean as much, but it still does mean something. But this leads me into the next thing, because I was told that by someone who is actually in like the what was it called in WoW, where you could test the future patches that came out? PTR.
Oh, the PTR.
Yeah,
Public
PTR,
test realm.
All right. The direction I'm going with this kind of fucking frustrates me, because there are certain team members. Purie, I don't know if you're one of them, or I don't know if Paradigm is one of them, but I do know PZ is one of them. That they have access to the PTR and the other people don't. I believe PTR needs to be open for everyone. They can see.
I see where you're going with this.
Yes, everyone should be allowed to test PTR, because you should be able to know what nerfs are coming, and that way you can prepare for it.
How to spec.
Yes.
Right, because when it comes out, everyone except them is ready for it.
Yes.
Has their strategy down, has their spec down, and then everyone else is just fucked.
I will tell you
that isn't really
fair
at all.
I kind of laughed, but a certain team had run a counter comp to us, and their entire comp did not receive a single nerf. They all got buffs when they ran that. And I kind of thought about it for a second. I was like, well, that is kind of funny. I was like, almost like all of our team in some way, took a hit from a patch to where the other team didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, that
it's
kind
too
of
good to be true.
boggles my mind.
Yeah.
So I think everyone should have access to PTR. I think it'd make
They shouldn't be like one
difference.
team.
I could go in there and be like, fuck, I find out some bug or patch or bug or fix that needs to be fixed. I can post it. You would have more competitive players doing PTR so they can identify what needs to be fixed, what
but
should have been the same.
Other players than just competitive players.
That's what I mean. I do believe that a lot of competitive players would take advantage of that. But yes, everyone should have access to it. It's the only way to make that fair. It's not like I thought about before. What else? Like you can't do something like, oh, one person from every team. No, that doesn't make sense. What about new teams?
No,
You know what I mean? It has to be
Right.
one person. It's the only thing that makes sense, and it's an unfair advantage. And
Although I agree with everything that you're saying, but the sad reality, regardless of how you want to look at it, is that developers, it doesn't seem that they're putting their focus into PvP at the moment. It seems that as of right now, they're putting more of their effort and time into PvE. And I mean, just look at everything the way it is now. I mean, when you go and you look up, the interview with Jonathan Sharp on YouTube that I think Zeph was in there talking to him. I mean, they were talking like January, February of when major changes were going to be coming in PvP. I mean, that's 2 months. The only way I can see people coming back to this game is for the main fact that it's free. As long as you have the game, you can literally just instantly jump right back into it. But other than that, like, they're taking their sweet ass time and just testing people's patience as, oh, well, because they promise so much stuff from the start. They're like, oh, we're going to make this an esport, and oh, we're going to have so many things you can do with PvP. And like, you look at it right now, it's just the only thing you can do is 5v5, and that's it. Like, there's no really any ladder to speak of other than if you know those teams specifically and stuff like that. So I don't think that like it's really promoting much as far as people coming back to the game.
I think I think Jonathan Sharp said it in that meeting or that discussion that they personally kind of believe that this is still in beta. This is a released, polished version of a beta. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree because like it took. You were saying that earlier. It took WoW like a long time to get started, and I joined WoW late vanilla, so I really kind of jumped in just as it was getting good. So I really didn't really notice any, oh, well, you have to wait for something because it was kind of already implemented.
Right.
But at the same time, I bought Guild Wars, and I guess just don't tell the fucking people that you're gonna get something and don't deliver.
Well,
like, don't false promises. Like,
see,
I can care less if they
agree with that.
said we're going to put it on this said date and deliver, but don't tell people that you're going to put it from the launch and then not deliver on your promises at all, because people are just going to believe you're full of shit. They're just going to leave and really
intended for it to be esports off launch. And even John Sharp said it, like in that state of the game discussion. In all reality, you can't set a date, man. MMOs can't set dates. Something simple as their workplace came down with the flu, and now they're back. They're not ahead of schedule anymore. Something stupid as that. You can't tell a competitive PvP or PvE community, hey bro, our lead developer just got the flu, so we're pushing this back. They'll just go nuts. They'll be like, oh, fuck you, dude. You said this date. So I do think it's smarter, but I do think they need to show a little bit more about what progress they're making and what they want to come out with. Yes, they did say January, February, March is going to be huge for PvP, and they're going to have themes for one of the months specifically geared for PvP. I mean, Ticks wasn't really enough for this Christmas patch, so I think everyone's a little upset about that. But
I do agree with that, but I just think they overhyped it for what they brought to the table from launch. Is pretty much my point.
Yeah, no, I agree, but also like I really don't. It's not that I don't value the opinions of those that say, "Fuck, why isn't this esport now?" I just don't value the fact that the impatience is there. Being that you have proof from other successful games that are esports that they took a while to develop. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't happen overnight. And that's like, I will always argue that point, and I will fight for Guild Wars 2 till the end because I absolutely love this game. I believe it can be extremely skill-based, and more so than others, because there is strategies that are involved. It's not just deathmatch. And, I guess I agree with the developers in that aspect. You can't release too much because the community will get overhyped and they'll get pissed off if it's not ready. Like, if they told me paid tournaments weren't going to come out for like multiple months, I'd be like, fuck, well, maybe they're coming out with multiple things at once. But because they did release paid tournaments, they gave us something. I mean, it's kind of like a give and take relationship. They're giving you paid tournaments, they're letting you play them, letting you get the strats down, or the strats, and letting you get fucking competitive with it. And then later on, they're coming out with ladders. It kind of makes sense to me. And what they said that they're geared towards with what they want to focus on, it also makes sense. I'm extremely happy, and I feel like they're going to be a successful esport game. They just got to keep driven, and the competitive PvPers, even like the non-competitive PvPers, just the casual ones, need to focus on giving more feedback to them. Because Now, a lot of times I go into these forums, and it's literally crying.
QQ City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just these
There's
QQ City all the
fat
time.
no
QQ sessions.
constructive criticism. It's just
Yep.
these are only the problem. Like my thing with the forums, if I post anything on the forums, is if I post a problem, I'm not going to just post a problem. I'm going to put a solution. Like if you don't have anything positive to bring to the table, you might as well just stop talking because you're not really giving anything back. I mean, it's just an useless cry fest at that point. You don't have any point, you know?
Yeah.
But as far as what to expect, like I would honestly wait a million years for something to be good than to have it now and be shit. Like, but that being said, I would like a general idea, usually, of when that is going to be coming out. I mean, of course, give or take, you know, a little bit of time, might come out faster, might come out sooner, but you still have some sort of idea.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but when they didn't really release the actual release date of Guild Wars 2, they just said, it's coming soon. People went nuts for like 2 months straight.
Oh, tell them to go suck a dick, you know?
Yeah,
it's
but that's
like,
the
come on.
same thing. Like, they're worried. I understand that they're worried that they're going to lose their player base as is. And, you know, other top teams are like, fuck this game, we're out until, you know, they do this, this, and this. That's fucking, it's selfish. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to make any more progression, and they might even be hindered with progression if the other players that do play this game a lot, or even casually, don't help the developers go in that direction. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm selling a product to them right now, or to you guys right now with Guild Wars 2, but like, it's really my mindset with it, and that's why I do believe PTR should be open to everyone, and I do believe there needs to be a more open line and direct communication with the developers to, I guess, help out. Like, for example, I went into the forums, and I'm not really even going to post in the forums much anymore because of this instance. I've never liked forum posting, and this is why. I went in, there's this huge crying thread about powers too much, and I told them everything can be avoided. This is how you do it. Depending on what class you play, this is how you do it. My response from multiple people was, I don't care if you're top team. And I didn't even say, bro, I'm this team and blah, blah, blah. I just said, hey, look, I'm blank blank. I'm Cutie Vane from Cute. I play this game a lot, and, you know, I think I'd really help you out. Here's how you avoid certain situations with Burst. And I don't give a fuck what team you're on. And, you know, like, blah, blah, Burst is too much and all this stuff like that. And, like, the animations don't live up and anticlimactic and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, you're going next level with the crying here. Like, I even posted, this is how sad it was. I even posted the state of the game discussion after, like, we had been bickering for a while. Posted the state of the game discussion with Jonathan Sharp. I was like, in this thread, Jonathan Sharp talks about learn to play issues. I was like, this thread is a learn to play issue, and I was like, learn to play. And then that got deleted immediately by a human moderator. But yes.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Like, that doesn't bring anything to the table. Bitch, that's John Sharp. I even called him Jonathan the Mac Sharp. I gave him a new nickname, so.
There's just, I agree. There's too much negativity going on with this game. Fun.
They are fun, but yeah.
Yeah, for the guy who did ask about the PvE and PvP of this game, probably the most frustrating part to PvEers is that there is no in-game content. Not as much. There's not a lot. So, you know, if you come from WoW and you're consecutively rating, you're not going to get that. But you will get that. It's about waiting. This game did just pretty much come out a few months ago. You just got to bide your time. A new question, Wooden Potatoes. Do you guys think this is worth trying to cast Guild Wars 2 before there's a spectator mode and its current balance? To bring more attention to the format without having to wait on ANET to add all the promised stuff. I think we would all agree yes. I think what you will get from spectator mode, you will not get from watching a live stream. And I say that by you do not receive the funny benefits of hearing teams bitch at each other. You don't get to hear the personal call-outs between each other. You get to watch, say, you know, your favorite player, Purie, play. But in doing so, you don't
Nobody
get to hear
likes
him.
Purie.
Yeah, okay, my bad, Zeus. So, you don't actually get to watch or listen and watch the call-outs, nothing. You just watch him personally play, which I don't think you'll get a lot from that. You'll learn how to play your class and what to do to counter certain things, but you're not going to get the full aspect of a stream, which I think is highly beneficial. I think bringing spectator mode is an awesome benefit, but I still do think streamers will benefit from it. Like, think about LOL. You can go spectate games in LOL, right? But look at the streamers have 15,000 plus viewers. You know, that's probably even lowballing. I've literally seen someone in a LOL stream sit there sleeping and have like 20,000 viewers. Like, I was like, what the fuck is this? So,
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah.
all right, let's see what else.
Hey man, that's entertainment at its
I'll
finest
tell
right
ya.
there.
I've done some stupid shit like that because I play LOL too, just so people know.
I'm
Like I
so
was
bad at LOL.
My buddy tried to get me to play Han for the first time, and it was probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had, to be quite honest. Like
Why?
I have never seen people so mad at me in my life. Like it was my first game, and I actually have it crafted. If you ever want me to upload it, just to laugh
Dude,
at me.
we know.
It was so like it might as well have been called "Teach me how to play the interface." I mean, he was just like, all right, you click Control Alt right click L times the power of pi divided by 3, and then you're going to click this bag and put it in the other box, which doesn't make any sense. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's just so retarded.
So
Oh, he didn't tell you to quit the game?
when
Well, I mean, people were just like,
Oh, he was
one,
nice to
it
you.
was just. He was totally nice to me, my buddy who was trying to teach me how to play, but the opponents we were up against, oh my god, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were like sending me death threats from what they were
Opponents?
saying.
Usually
the
it's the
opponents.
teammates.
Well, teammates as well too.
Fuck you!
Because
screwed my
basically,
games and
I
my
think I
points.
was playing in Han like a witch doctor or a witch slayer, which was like support, and I was, getting the hang of it fine, but just not as fast as it was my very first game. So, I was just still getting the hang of everything. Wasn't doing bad, wasn't doing great, but these people were like, look at this motherfucker on this. I mean, just like, just hardcore shit. And like, I literally was just like, man, I like typed down match chat. I'm like, I thought the community in some games were bad, but this is just completely like, Han.
Oh.
Heroes of New Earth.
Oh, fuck LOL,
Oh,
man.
yes.
LOL makes me feel bad about myself when I play that game. Dude,
Yeah.
I joined, like, I am such a fresh LOL player. Like, all I know is certain terms like jungler. Like, that's all I know.
Top lane,
And-
bottom lane, mid lane.
I was like, this game seems pretty interesting. I'll try it out. Everyone's into it. So, I'm trying it out, and I was like, okay, what's the best thing for me to do? Go into the newbie area and try, co-op versus the UI or whatever the fuck it was. Dude, I went in there and I picked a class or something like that, and I said I'm gonna be bottom lane or something like that. This dude fucking flamed me for like an hour. I was like, what is wrong with you?
Yes.
This is supposed to be the newbie area, and my friend who plays LOL a lot was like, yeah, that's probably a Smurf. I was like, what the fuck is a Smurf? He's like, well, some, like, more seasoned players that play this game a lot want, new players, or, whatever. I was like, this sucks. I was like, everyone is so ruthless in this game. It's full bunch of trolls.
Yeah,
Never learn.
basically,
Yes.
when I went into Han,
Rank 41.
not only did we go into a game, because you get to choose your match based off of skill, or you can wait and choose it off of balance. People that haven't really played the game that much. I mean, so he went into the fastest fucking queue of his life. So he was just like, let's just face whoever. So I mean, these people were like veterans and like people that have been playing forever, and they're like, I'm just like, because I think my name was Trigger in there, because that's why I used to play a lot of first-person shooters. But anyways, it's like, man, I'm farming the fuck out of Trigger. Look at this scrub-ass dude just farmed. I mean, it's just like, holy shit,
Yeah.
dude. I'm like, dude, I haven't been in here more than 30 seconds, and like, you're already like threatening to kill me in real life and shit. It's just like, oh my god.
To Wooden, he asked previously, why do we think that there is not a lot of viewership in the Guild Wars 2 section? When the game first came out, there was a lot, and there was a few guys who did get
Yeah, but
like,
that was because of few people,
Yeah, they did get
Big names.
Yeah, the big guys did get like Twitch subscriptions and shit like that, But now it has died down. Now you won't see that as much, and my personal reasoning is because it is hard to follow. Like, I have a big friend that is huge into WoW, huge into LOL. I told him, hey, if you ever want to stop by and support my stream, or just, come and check it to play out, you can. And he came on and he's like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on right now.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if you throw that into base with the fact that there is no reasoning to play Guild Wars 2, like these big guys, why would they come to Guild Wars 2 and why would they promote the product if they aren't going to receive any benefit of it other than having a bigger EP? You know what I mean? Like, I can come into these paid tournaments and, we can beat another top team, and all there is like, the ego boost of, like, we just beat these guys. You know what I mean? There is no actual benefit and reward from it right now. It's not as notable.
there's not something you can wave in their faces, pretty much.
I think once Guild Wars 2 does release those ladders, those monthly
AKA
tournaments,
the ladder, it'll give somebody an incentive.
Exactly, and I do think you'll see more of a draw, or more people actually coming within this actual Guild Wars 2 community. And I know a lot of these other competitive players, they did say they're just going to stop Guild Wars 2 until that stuff does come out. So
Right, and that's the great thing about it, since it is free to play, that people can literally get back into it at any time. It's almost like the same way with Diablo 3, because like there are points to where, oh well, the game's shit, and then they finally finger twitch, fix it to an extent, and then just gets people back. And it doesn't really take anything to come back to the game once you've already bought and it's free to play. You just pop it in and you go. But that
being buy a bot and make money with that.
Yeah.
Right. But that being said, even if they do come out with the matchmaking or the ladders, I don't think that it's going to get as many viewers as it should until the game is fully balanced, until you can't one-shot people, until stealth rendering's fixed, until there is new game type modes and stuff like that. So I mean, once that is finally in play, honestly, I don't even know how many people that it would get. Like, how many people did it get at start as far as viewers total for the game?
It was about 10,000.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
2,000, yeah.
It was big, yeah.
Wow,
It was massive.
I didn't start streaming until a lot later, and I mean, still, if I get 12 people in my stream, I'm fucking like doing a fucking happy dance. So, so.
Yeah, no, like a lot of us don't actually expect this just to blow up overnight, but we do know that they've laid the groundwork already, and now they're progressing through that. They're essentially, I see it as the developers are going above and beyond to make this game esports material. You know they want it. What other game has simply said, hey bro, we want to go esports and this is what we're going to do it, right? Now you have the community backing them up because they want that as well. So they are going that way, they're going that route, and they have the community backing them up. No other game has ever done that. You don't ever hear about games saying, I want to go esports. It just happens. You know what I mean? So now you have Guild Wars 2, this community wanting to go esports. They tell you what they're going to do, and it will progress. But like, Bring Your Friends just said, it will take time. It will slowly progress up and up and up. And eventually it's going to be one of those esports tourneys where one of the big wigs sees, these competitive teams going at it. And, they're like, damn, dude, I want in on some of that action. You know what I mean? But it won't be until then. It won't be until they progress forward. And I think they do understand that. So
that actually brings me on to something else, because we were talking about the forums earlier, and I always love it when people call themselves like the best of this class or the best of that, because you can't really call yourself the best of this because there isn't really a player base yet. Like, you have no idea what type of people are going to come back into this game once PvP becomes popular.
No, man. So, I'm rank 1 world. I'm best of the best.
Yeah.
I'm best of all the classes, man.
I'm the best ranked roamer Mesmer in this game. Like,
best guardian, best Mesmer.
I play all the motherfucking classes.
I play all that shit. I'm the best universal player there is, regardless of class.
Yeah, like the player base isn't big for that, exactly.
But it would be something like Bulletproof said, kind of what Bulletproof said. It would be something like, one day Wreckful or Kungin or, Towley or something like that. They play Guild Wars 2. You know what I mean? Something as simple as that. They're like, yep.
Right. Did you say Wreckful and Kungin? Like,
yeah,
good player, bad
didn't
player?
Kungin used to be a GM of WoW? And is he still?
Kungin was like most notably known for being a top PvE raider and doing a bunch of world firsts, and that
great leader.
It just set him.
I didn't know if he was part of the company or not, so
yeah,
I never really kept too much track of him.
But something like that would honestly give us a higher player base. You start seeing Guild Wars 2 have a higher amount of viewers on Twitch, and then eventually other people will be like, hey, Guild Wars 2 is right here. Let me take it.
Right,
exactly.
I mean, you get one
game.
You get one curiosity. Celebrity or anybody that has a lot of influence in the game, even look at it.
Yep.
Puts up a picture on their page, and people will follow. So.
All right.
I mean, even if he's wrong, they'll still follow. They'll be like, "Oh, go to Guild Wars. It's great right now." They'll be like, "Really?
Nihilum, I believe, was the guild name, right? Nihilum, something like that.
Nephilim?
Yeah. That was the one. Yeah.
I remember that. But there's so much to talk about because there's so much that we could see progress. But at the same point, there's so much that's gone right with this game. So I've never honestly had more fun in PvP than in Guild Wars 2.
I
agree.
I think my first week
Game is
playing the
fucking
game, I
amazing.
think I was the happiest person alive, just because it's almost like the opposite of WoW. I mean, for the most part, you're just like, oh my god, like I didn't even know, I did not know you could change up your spec until the second day in,
Yeah.
like in PvP, and then my friend told me, I'm like, you can do what? I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever, you know, and then
Yeah.
Customization.
I was like no way, and then then just exploded from there.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
game is very well
It
made,
is.
in my opinion. Like the
Yeah, it
ground,
is.
the foundation for it is
Oh
amazing.
my god, yeah.
Yeah.
It's adding vertical
they need
gameplay into. Like I
It's-
love that.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
they
it's-
just need to add stuff.
Yeah, it's just waiting
Yes.
for the icing on the cake. Is pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so fluent to me. Like I logged on to WoW again. Like I was like, fuck, dude, I'm gonna download
My
this
friends
campaign.
are
I'm not
actually-
even gonna do it.
My
Oh
friends
my
are
God.
so desperate to get me back into WoW that one person is actually offering to pay for my game, and then another one is offering to pay for my subscription. Because I used to be like a huge WoW player. I had my own guild, did the whole PvP thing, and then like ever since I left, people were just like on the forums like, "Oh my God, where's Trigger? We need our 150 man raids and shit like that." So I mean, I just can't see myself going back after playing this game just because of the fact that, like, for example, I think the dodge roll mechanic is like one of the game breaking things. Like, you have a spell that could kill you, but you have a mechanic that can avoid it and do no damage, and that's based off of your timing. Like, that to
Yeah.
me is just like, you can't beat that. Like,
Yeah,
you can't get more of a fair deal than that.
Yeah.
Like with WoW, it's like, you have a 99% chance to kill someone, and then I have a cooldown that has a 50% chance not to kill me when I press it. But if it does, I have no control over it. It's just like, that's not fucking
Yeah.
fun. It's RNG, and like no game will ever be good, in my opinion, when game revolves around RNG in general. It's just,
Yep. I agree.
it doesn't revolve around the player at all.
To answer Dark Piece's question about that build, you're essentially going to be filling a different role. With our share alone, it's so strong and so powerful that you can play such a, I guess, offensive or defensive role in your team. Like I said, personally, my role is to control other players and to lock them down. Blinks also fills that role in here, so anything he says is completely viable, and you completely listen. He's not just a random person. It is super, super strong. Sharing those auras just really kind of takes the gameplay to the next level on Ellie. Having that 50% armor of Earth is an awesome proc. I personally would not give aura share up. Like I said, you would be filling a different role. Your team would have to, I guess, focus on a different comp than ours alone, because I don't think it would survive as well in team fights without the aura share.
Oh, you remember when I was telling you how bad SOTOR PvP was?
Mm-hmm.
Here is the link to said video. It's pretty, it was pretty sad experience. Like, that alone defines SOTOR World PvP.
What Gohambro said, I agree strongly. A lot of these top-notch, streamers or well-known players in the gaming communities, they don't see a reason to focus on this game. Like he said, you don't see world firsts. You don't see identifying tactics as the you can identify like the top team in North America or EU or something like that. They're like QPs says shit. You know what I mean? You could still lose and gain QPs. If a team say Purie's team just didn't play or consecutively lost over and over, and all they gained was like 1 QP, they're so far up right now that it really wouldn't mean much, because the new person coming in would be like, damn, dude, this guy is extremely good. He has a lot of QPs. But he wouldn't know that there's another team. Exactly. He wouldn't know that another team is actually giving Purie the fat D right now. So, it's the QP isn't reliable. I don't think like a lot of new players will come in and they'll see Purie's team dominating this QP leaderboard, and they'll be like, yeah, dude, we're never gonna catch that. 5 QPs and Purie's team still winning, never gonna catch that. It just makes sense to do it. So all you're competing for now is bragging rights. And
No. I'm just stacking them up, man. Stockpiling them.
Hell yeah. And then
why not?
getting some paid tournament gear. QP. QP is qualifying points. I'll actually open my tab to show you what QP is. If you win an entire bracket, you get 5 qualifying points. These qualifying points will later be used on for monthly and yearly tournaments. Dude, don't hate on the 450. But these qualifying points that you see here will later on be used for monthly and yearly tournaments to be able to be able to get into those. As to how they're going to do that, no one knows. It could be something like you spend qualifying points to get into them. It could be something as you need a base amount. I need 100 qualifying points to enter. That hasn't actually been released. They have talked about that in the state of the game. I think that's one of those things that they're still kind of up in the air about, because if they say you need 400 points to enter, well, shit, there's only a few teams that have 400 points, and what if a person on that team doesn't have that many points? So I think they're going to do a base of you need to spend this many points as a whole for your team to enter this competition. Yeah, S-Tor was fun when it came out, but I did go back. PvP was clunky. I went back to WoW, and the UI was bad, and it just felt slow and not entertaining, and I kept finding myself pressing V to dodge roll, and yeah, it was not entertaining, at the least.
Did you see that video I posted?
PvP is qualifying points, Eviscera.
What about using arcane skills with arcane mastery versus cantrips? Spellslinger. Good memento.
Update my builds and stuff.
But yeah, a ladder would be a turn in the right direction, definitely.
I agree. I definitely agree. The way they're focused is definitely on they want to send you the most polished material over, sending you just something. Like something like when Thieves or Solo Lord, or they could like port through door, even though like it still can happen. I'm not saying do it. Like I'm pretty sure Z found out the other day that a Mesmer can staff port through door. You didn't hear it here, but stuff like that.
Wait, he just found that out?
Yeah, he came back. He's like, dude, I thought that was fixed. And I was like, dude, I thought it was too. So,
you didn't need a staff to do it. You could do it with
your blink, right? But like, no Mesmers use blink for the most part in tourneys. So
no, not blink, but sword number 3, the illusionary leap to a swap. If you use the charge clone runs right through that damn door sometimes.
Nice. Yeah. Stuff like that is game changing, and it shouldn't be in it. It could be something as, oh shit, we're getting our ass kicked. All this Mesmer has to do is go through that door real quick, not even alert anyone, and now port us all in.
Like it's been on the game since beginning.
Right. Stuff like that is critical. It should
more
be
than
changed.
The block bug.
Yes. I think stuff like Lord giving 150 points shouldn't be as much, personally. I don't think that it should come down to we've been getting our ass kicked all fucking game. We barely scrapped up 350 points. Let's go make a Lord push as a last-ditch effort and try to win. Don't think it should give that many points. I also don't think Treb should be as strong. I've thought about that, and I don't know. I just don't know. Like,
about what?
How many points
like
Lord should give?
If it gives like 50 points, man, like why would you even do it? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
the only way that would be plausible is if he respawned. Then you could set up some type of farming on the Lord, but other than that, I don't see it being viable if it would give low points and then not respawn. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
I personally think that, like what Mr. Popo said, I think Treb shouldn't be a primary strat in someone's gameplay. I totally disagree with Treb. I disagree with Lord, and I think, Beasts, like, I think they're perfect where they're at. Personally, I think that the amount of points that they give isn't much, to be honest with you. Like, you can play an entire game without it. And be okay. And it can get stolen way too easily. You know what I mean? A lot of, like, a thief can just, like, kind of sit back and hang around, and he does so much damage, so much burst potential, and it's so controllable that he can go steal that, and, like, no problem. Like, a lot of teams, I know EU teams use that as a primary thief role to steal bosses.
No.
No? Okay, well, I know Paradigm does.
I mean, dude, they don't even play.
I honestly wouldn't even have that big of a problem if they took out everything in like Paid's.
Last time we saw them, like, was like when Paid tournaments came, like, oh my god, so long time ago. Like, they don't even play.
Yeah. And then I do think that their ladder system is their primary goal right now. It's their number one focus. And I do believe you're actually going to see that in either the big January patch, which I think is the big PvP patch. I think it's the 14th is projected. So, yes, I do think we're going to see ladders really soon. Anyways, I'm crossing my fingers. But they did say January, February, March is going to be huge for PvP. Huge.
Hope so.
Yes.
Hope so.
I mean, a lot of people wanted something big in this December patch, and we got Mr. Ticks.
We got jumping puzzles.
Yeah, jumping puzzles and little Ticks here. He gives a backpack.
And might for Mesmer.
That is true. So
that was the most unexpected thing I saw on Mesmer's. I did not even know it was coming. The might stacking.
Nobody was even playing Mesmer, so.
Yeah.
Like I read the patch notes and I was just like,
Totally.
3 stacks on this. I was like, oh my god in heaven. I was like, I wonder what will happen if I put, because sometimes I ran builds, might stacking builds, and I would get up to, it would take a while, but I could get up to like a 21 stack, a 20 stack a might, but I'd have to throw the 3 stack on weapon swap on each weapon. But now it's just like, it's more sustained might stacking for longer.
Yeah.
And I think that
You
players are just finally noticing
without sacrificing anything.
Yeah.
I honestly think it would balance a lot out if they took that trait and like moved it into another tree to try and promote players to try different builds, because everyone knows, other than me, because I'm just weird as hell and I don't usually run the regular shatter spec. I always put 20 points into chaos or whatever, just because I like focusing more on being the role of short point and being able to 1v1 almost anybody. But if you actually put like a really viable trait like that somewhere else, then you'll probably see like a lot more viable builds, or more reason or incentive for people to actually go into said build and like kind of draw away from the whole 20-20-00-30 as far as a Mesmer goes. And I think that would bring a lot of variety to the class. Because if you buff a spec that everyone is using, that's more of a reason to stay on that spec. Like no one's gonna deter from it. Like it's just going to become very stale eventually.
I think they need to buff other weapon sets.
Agreed.
To make more different specs for different classes viable. Like, dude, you don't see longbow warriors. I mean, you kind of every once in a blue moon you see like a rifle warrior. You kind of see almost every LE weapon set played kind of across the spectrum. LEs don't really have a huge deficit when it comes to that. You see it with shit. Who else takes a big toll on it? Almost every class, really, though. They have that 1 or 2 weapon sets that is just like, dude, why are you even fucking running that? You know what I mean? Like, it's even like on the fence with Mesmers to use greatsword these days. Like 90% of Mesmers use staff. You know what I mean? Like it's
I'm like one of the only ones that still uses greatsword.
Yeah, right. Like and I don't know.
No, you should swap it like according like what you're playing against.
And it's just
Staff is good against melee and greatsword decent against like ranged. Yeah, simple.
NG
That's how you choose between them. Yeah.
What?
NG viability in the North America scene is really low. It's almost non-existent.
Non-existent. Yeah.
Same in EU.
Yeah. So I know EU actually played around with NGs a lot more. If the meta has changed, which Purie said it has, then that means it's almost going to be no NGs whatsoever.
Nah, there's pretty much none.
Yeah, it's the roles that NGs can fill. Other classes can fill them better, which is basically what it boils down to. And we were talking about this earlier, actually. NGs have a lot of skill shots to where other classes don't. So it's immediately going to throw off other newer players from playing that class. And I do think, like I said, that a lot of other classes can fill the role of NG a lot better. We try to play a role of an NG as a roamer. God, like the strength of the mobility of a thief or a warrior or an LE, it doesn't trump, playing an NG over an LE. Like you can't do it. Playing him off as an off-noder, you can't do that either because you now got the Mesmer. The best thing you could do is have a Mesmer lay a port on home node, and the Mesmer's in the fight the entire time, but you just port the NG back. You know what I mean? That is the best way to do it if you want to run NG as off-node, but sitting there all game, twiddling his thumbs, not going to happen. The entire team's just going to 5v4.
Think about the game without Portal.
Yeah, exactly.
Without Portal.
I want the game to be without Portal, to be quite honest, just because I want to play something else. Like, it's just, it gets so annoying. Like when I join like Zizix's team, like that is such a tongue twister.
It's gonna be
but,
so
like,
fucked up after
it's automatically
that. Like, he's gonna back up you all the time.
It's automatically assumed that I put Portal on short point, and then pretty much I wait for combat to happen, and then I set Portal, and then I go mid, assist, throw Portal, or throw Time Warp to help him out with the engagement, and then port back if I see somebody coming to my node, and that's it. Like that's my variety of play. Like I want to see something more than that, you know?
Oh yeah.
It's just,
when Like we really use our Mesmer aggressively a lot of times. Sometimes we just can't. You know what I mean? Sometimes teams force us back into the,
right,
you
and
know,
that's
Mesmer
understandable.
off
It's
net.
all situational, but yeah.
Yeah, personally, we know the strength of a roaming Mesmer. It is so strong.
Yeah.
We were able
And
to use Zeph as a roaming Mesmer a few times today, and it was just the strength of it in a skilled Mesmer's hands is just, it's a natural. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But,
And
a
like
lot of teams
that's
just
what I
can't
really want to
do
be
it.
too, just because like, I think I have enough experience to do it, but like I guess most teams won't really give me the opportunity just because it's just like
No, I
some teams,
agree.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying all teams, see Mesmers as babysitters. It's just like
I agree strongly.
so.
And it's, I think a lot of teams put way too much pressure on their Mesmer. Like, a dagger Illy can kill you. You know, if you go back and you have no cooldowns, you're almost fucked if someone tries to engage you. You know what I mean? Like, it depends on
Right.
the class you're going against, yes. But if you're going back with no cooldowns, man, it fucking sucks. There's a lot of pressure on the Mesmers to actually keep that node at least neutral.
Like it's not you who has to go back. You just need to
Ex-
put down the portal.
Yeah,
Someone to go back.
Yep.
It has
Right.
to be the
Just to
Mesmer.
take your place.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people do, though, is they put so much pressure on that Mesmer, and they automatically think, fuck, this Mesmer's bad, because, he either can't win his 1v1s. And, like, my response to that, if I was Mesmer, is like, bitch, I was just helping you guys win a team fight in mid, because you guys were sucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a prime example, when PZ had Z, they had a strong tactic of continuously pushing Z in mid. No one knew how to defend against it at first. Someone one day had the smart idea of, shit, why don't we just go push his node and make him come back? Once that started happening, people started backcapping or pushing Z back all the time, and Z was so aggressive in mid because that's what his team called for that they didn't have the actual opportunity to really see that it wasn't just Z fucking messing up per se. It was the entire team as a whole.
Right.
And I think there's more people in the community now do realize that there is that much pressure on Mesmers, but there is still like the fuck, dude, this Mesmer can't keep his node, or he keeps dying to a 1v1.
Dude, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
The way that I really spec my guy, like, and I know it sounds crazy because I don't use time warp some of the times. Like some of the times I'll use mass invisibility, and even though I will sometimes neutralize the cap, but 90% of the time with mass invis, I will more than likely kill them because I use mass invis with Runes of Alyssa, so I use it as a condition clear. So more than likely, it's just I'm able to even kill said person without even being having anybody from my team from middle to come and support me just because of that alone. So even though it may become neutral, but most of the time I actually do get it back just because of the way I spec around my character. So
yeah, no, that's definitely a new tactic. Like I haven't heard massive viz before. Like that's
No,
hence the Purie. What?
I had to say something like that's something like I've actually never heard of Mesmer saying like if someone backcapping me, I'm using portal, you go instead of me. Like I've fucking never heard of that one. Like it's always the Mesmer. Oh shit! I don't have any cooldowns. I'm dead now. Like fuck. Yeah, like,
I'm gonna put myself in a bad position.
Yeah. Why don't you ask your team to help you? Like I can't go there. Why not you take my portal and help me? Like what the fuck? Yeah.
Yes, that is.
Why
something...
don't people do that? Why don't
right,
people
just taking
do that?
their place.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
like...
something that a Mesmer on my team currently, Kimura, who used to play for PZ, he does that a lot. He tells somebody to take his place or somebody to at least come back with him.
It's smart though. Like
no,
why would you
is,
not do that?
is.
Well, like,
Yeah, I mean, like if you are fighting middle and you have no cooldowns, and if you have to go back and you have nothing left, and you're like half HP, like you can't take the
you're
one versus
choosing
one.
to kill yourself. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
No, yeah, I've seen it more with the top teams. Like naturally, myself or H-Band will go in, just put a burst on whoever's down there, and then we can come back, depending on what character or what player is, of course, down there. But if I put like one small burst on a thief, the Mesmer handles them from there. You know what I mean? It's no big deal at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Put
exactly.
him in a hole and make that thief peel out. But a lot of times, sometimes you can even give the person get back into the portal right into the fight before it even fucking the portal closes. But,
Yeah, the reason why I spec that is just because it was more self-sustaining. Like I wouldn't have to rely on my team to even come and support me, just because it gives you the time to set up your rotation, even if you were low on cooldowns. So that is the reason. Like, oh my god, The node's
No.
been neutralized. What the hell
No.
are you doing?
No,
well,
no,
you
no,
know,
no,
give
no,
me
no, no, no.
give me a second. you know.
No,
But
no,
that's-
no.
No, no, mass stealth, man, no. No way.
It's
Don't do
good.
that.
It's too
Don't
good.
do that.
It's too good. That's stealth OP.
Yeah, I think from what the game first came out of, dude, you're bad. You got fucking neutral on. It's turned into, dude, fucking. If you have to get neutral on, that's fine. Win your fight, or play super defensive, wait for re-up. That's kind of
Right.
what it's turned into, which makes sense. We know that hey, our Mesmer might not be able to win that fight. Can you hold off just a bit longer, buddy? I'm almost there, type thing. You know what I mean? It's not like, fuck, dude, you suck so much balls, you haven't even won that fight. Like, that's what it used to be, and it's kind of changed the scene for Mesmers. But yes, using a Mesmer aggressively as a offensive roamer is awesome. They don't have a lot of mobility when it comes to personal speed buffs, but if a Mesmer's playing aggressively and he can use say stuff like blink or something like that, he can get around the map. So
Yeah.
that's definitely not an issue. But yeah, we do realize the potential of roaming Mesmers, and I do think a 2 Mesmer comp it would be extremely strong, but I do think it'd be only a 2-point team. I don't think if you were to go a 3-point team with 2 Mesmers, it might actually bone you. You're splitting up.
No, you want a team fight with that.
Yeah, definitely a 2-point team.
Well, it makes the advantage of 2 Mesmer teams makes anybody on your team incredibly mobile now. On
Oh,
a
yeah.
push of a button. So there's no crutch for that.
Yeah.
The team fight and the ability to help a point is always there. Like that's the strength of it.
Yeah.
And you need to abuse that because as soon as you don't, your double Mesmer just simply becomes why don't you replace the other Mesmer with a thief because he does
Yeah.
that better.
Exactly.
Dead weight. Yeah.
What Gohambro said, if the Mesmer loses his 1v1s, he will lose the game. It's the biggest role in team. Do not personally agree with that.
Yeah.
I personally believe that the Mesmer has to retain himself in a 1v1. If we're sending our Mesmer into a situation where we know personally he's going to lose that fight, then it's now our fault as well. It's never just the Mesmer's. It's the team's fault as a whole. If he's going back, or he tries pop port, and he's at 50%, no cooldowns up, we now have to make a mental note.
Right.
Either that
It's
guy...
a matter of time.
Exactly. That dude, he will get worn down. Like, I'm such a douche, personally, when I assault the nodes. If I see a Mesmer at full health, and I think he's at full cooldowns, I'll just pop that shit and run. Like, no second choice.
Yeah.
No, don't
But
even...
that still becomes an issue of communication because
Exactly.
sometimes you might not know if how many cooldowns did you pop, or so it's pretty much as you said, the whole team as a whole for not communicating those facts across.
But it's also powerful is porting 2 people back, insta-gibbing that guy that's on you,
And
then,
porting back before the portal goes out.
And then even if you don't pop a port, you can now send that other player, make sure it's a roamer that has high mobility, gets back up to that mid fight, and you go at it. So, I don't know.
I love those plays. They're so clutch.
If you go into a 2v2, do you watch out for classes you're up against and bail if you know you'll lose? Yes and no. If
situational.
It's an extremely situational question. I personally love to engage 2v2s. I love the skill-based fights. I think they're extremely fun. So like sometimes I can be extremely stubborn with those fights.
I'm gonna say this one actually. Like if it's like one of them is like bunker, like Guardian, bunker Ellie, something like that, then you might not choose to fight.
Yeah. If it's a high sustain fight like a Guardian bunker. I'll just
you
bounce.
don't want to use the time.
Yeah,
to fight those.
if it's 2 heavy condition users and I know I don't have that much condy removal, then I know we should probably peel off that fight.
Yeah.
But I also know if it's a pretty balanced fight between the both of us, I will engage that fight and I will try to flex my AP and be like, dude, let's do this, let's get it. And I might be stubborn when I'm going into those 2v2s. So sometimes I do find myself pushing when I shouldn't be pushing, if that makes sense. To where we could easily just peel off and we have 75% health to where I find myself trying to peel out and I have 20% health. So, oh man. Let's see, what about Guard Thief? Guard Thief, most likely a win if I'm on my Ellie. Ellie's just naturally with their weapon set skills, if you're playing Dagger, you can make a Thief burn most of his utilities alone, just trying to escape you and avoid your burst. Especially if he doesn't have the chance to put Basilisk up and try to get that gib off, you put him in a hole by being super aggressive, and then you're boning that Thief. and then just add the other pressure of another player in, you're good to go. But the big issue with thieves is a thief is almost useless if he doesn't have the chance to catch you essentially off guard. If you see a thief coming at you, I can immediately know I need to pop defensives, I need to, be near my other player, whatever. But a thief...
Shadow step haste,
yeah, exactly.
Bam, bam, bam.
He needs to have that element of surprise. If you know a thief is coming, he's almost useless. He's going to short bow your ass and continue to 3 spam. It's just the way it works. He's just going to try to stay alive. But you have to continue to put that pressure on him. So a lot of times, though, in big team fights, a thief will just bounce. You'll see that dude long gone if he's focus target. Like, he'll port away, he'll shadow step out, he'll stealth out. It doesn't matter. He'll get away because he knows that he's more useful alive than dead. Focusing a thief in a big team fight can actually mean that you might die elsewhere because you're not focusing on a more higher priority target. They can kind of kite you around, essentially. They can just kind of juke you out. And you might not be doing any damage whatsoever to where their team is doing damage to you while you're trying to focus on a thief.
Yep. I feel like thief is always an opportunistic kill.
It is.
Not
not
a kill that you
not
should
something
focus
that
on.
You don't want to tunnel
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Yes. Too many resources.
It's like Necro. Necro plagues. Are you gonna still tunnel him? No,
Yeah, right.
Of course not. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, if the Necro...
Unless he's at 10%.
Yeah, exactly. If the
Yeah.
Pops plague at like
then you
10% health, you're like, oh, that's a free kill.
yeah.
The crazy thing about Elise is, even in just our 30 water and 30 arcanistry, is that there's kind of some diversity in itself, depending on the utilities and the traits that they're picking, that it may even turn an Ellie into heavily a team fighter or a 1v1er. So you never really know unless you played against that Ellie before, or you can identify the Ellie's traits just by simply what they're doing and how they're fighting. But it's tough against Nelly. Like, my build is more supportive. It's more team fights type deal. I can engage in 1v1s, but I know there are 1v1s that I'll definitely lose. With Zeus's build...
What do you lose to?
Trap Ranger shits in my face. With my current build, with my current build, it just...
I know Purie is like so confused about it because he's like, "What the fuck is Trap Ranger right now?"
What the fuck?
You're like, "Oh my god, yeah." No, Trap Rangers.
What is that, man?
On my build, a good Trap Ranger will just fucking...
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Who are some top rangers you know?
Vendetta. Java is
Vendetta's Vendetta's like the only one that I know of that I've seen.
It's basically only Vendetta right now, and maybe Raytech.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because Java doesn't play anymore, and he was the pioneer of it.
Yeah, the first really ranger I really lost to, I think, was Vendetta, and like I joined a hot game, and I was just like jaw dropped because like going from like the hunters or the rangers that I usually face to Vendetta, I was just like, what in the fuck?
It's strong.
Because the times I did beat him was like, we're talking so minuscule, like 1,000 health. I mean, it was like our matches were so close that it wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
Like it was just so surprising how good he was.
Yeah. Let's see, with Rebel, I'm having trouble versus backpoint Mesmers. Yeah, okay, the thing with backpoint Mesmers is being that Shatter is so strong, and if you were to run my build, per se, you need to dodge the roots. You don't want to have to burn your Mistform for a big Shatter. Sometimes you need to, if you get caught up, but know that Mind Rack is on a 9-second cooldown. If you have that...
But you should win the fight on point.
Yeah, you can consecutively just keep putting massive amounts of pressure on a Mesmer. That should be no issue. But you do have to bear in mind simple stuff like if he is going to root you or daze you or something like that, just know that it's most likely going to be followed by a big Shatter. You need to actually dodge that root. It's really straightforward to see coming. You see the buff on them. If it's coming at you, dodge.
If you can't do anything else.
Yeah,
exactly.
if you see a charging clone looking like a football player charge at you, you dodge immediately because that's the route on standby, pretty much.
Yep, Mistform is essentially your saving grace.
And there's like leg icon on the Mesmer. Yeah.
Yep, and if you are focusing on like a heavier cantrip build, I would recommend Port Cantrip. It makes it more fun to duel Mesmers because you can actually... It's like you have 2 oh shit buttons now when going against a Mesmer. Just got to be a little bit quicker with Port. But if you are quick and neutralize that damage, then you can be super aggressive on them.
So you can basically fail them all.
Yes. If you want, also kind of make sure if they miss their first Mind Rack on you, know that 9 seconds up, if you see them cast a bunch of clones, and you are essentially kiting those clones around with chill, and you see them sprinting towards you, dodge roll into the clones. It sounds fucking crazy, but if you dodge roll into the clones, it actually forces a shatter. If you press the shatter button, if you press mind rack, if you dodge into them, it will actually make them shatter, and now you just neutralize or might only get hit by like 1 mind rack shatter to where you were going to get hit by like 4. So
Because the
you know what
clones
mistake
shatter
people
the
usually
closer
do?
they get to you. So therefore, if you actually make space when you shatter, you'll pretty much avoid the damage. So.
And you need to watch out for Mesmers when they get below 50% health, because
Yeah.
they get new shatters.
Yep.
People don't remember about that
Yep.
one, so...
Yes.
Well, you know what I can't stand though is your number whatever Blurred Frenzy is.
Number 2
2.
sword.
Oh my fucking god! I can't stand that makes you mitigate all damage while you're Blurred Frenzying. I can't fucking stand that. Like it.
Yeah, some people just do it literally as a defensive move, even if
You'll
they're
send
close
pop
to you or not.
distortion and then Blurred Frenzy just to avoid damage, and I can't fucking stand it, dude. I feel like there's a little bit too heavy sustain.
I haven't seen many situations where I've used that at all, just because my total mindset is the more aggressive I am, the better off I am. Like, if I use it as purely defensive, I'm pretty much almost acknowledging that I'm going to lose the fight.
Yeah.
For the most part.
If you're Ellie versus Elling as a dagger duel, not only is it going to take forever, it's literally going to be about who actually saves their cooldowns the most and who actually neutralizes the gib. So if you can like dodge roll the updraft and the burning speed, and then you land yours, force him into misform, know that it's always going to end up in misform. You force him into misform, then you kite around for a second, wait for updraft, come back up, wait for red lighting, wait for burning speed and your cooldowns, and then go for the gib and play super, aggressive to him. You gotta make sure that you burn the Ellie's misform. Like when it's Ellie versus Ellie in tourneys, pretty much it's the gayest thing ever because each Ellie's locking each other down, not doing shit. They're like almost there, useless, doing nothing.
The one who's gonna lose is the one's team that's gonna help him first.
Yep, pretty much that's the way it works. So if another Ellie gets an updraft on me and I know he's about to fucking burn a gib, I will pop misform early to make sure I neutralize that damage. But what happens there is now they know and they're calling out that essentially I burn misform and I'm an easy target. Focus, focus, focus. And that's what it really comes down to. So I think Zeus just asked me to duel him.
Oh, nice. I'll come duel too. Why not?
Why not?
Alright. Let me go to the bathroom real quick. Give me a server. Actually, I'll join off you.
Alright, give me a minute.
Yeah, just let me know.
Oh, 1 versus 1 incoming.
I just put like 11 builds on my channel. Every single build that I've ever created on an Ellie or Warrior is on my channel right now. Pretty much. Answer, he's scared. I enjoy fighting other Ellies, to be honest, because mine differs from them so much for the most part. It makes it very interesting.
Your build will trump mine in this, I just want you to know that. Zeus just changed his build to a 1v1 build, so you know. I'm not. I have more honor than that.
Oh, sure. We'll keep it at that. Yeah, I'll join. Give me a second. I decided to ride the lightning past the PvP.
Nice.
Had to run back up. I'm in 266, but you can join off me.
Energy drink.
I really like Temple of the Silent Storm, probably more than any of them, to be quite honest.
Yes, I really like this map. You know what this map says? Fuck you, bunkers, because of that buff, where you get more points by, what's it called? Holding more points gives you more points.
I honestly think they should implement that into like hot joint as well, to actually have points for defending a node, just because I don't know, it's like an incentive for instead of 8 people to go to one node, cap it, and then 8 people to go to another node.
Okay, I'm coming to you.
Yeah, I'm up here.
Usually I just go right here just because it's the flattest.
What are you playing?
Piece of area.